Chapter 418, Pushing Through. Chapter 418, Pushing Through. Sir Leng, what are you doing here? At the super-secret huge array thousands of meters under Caged Dragon City, the tough and muscled figure of Huangpu Fenglei walked up from behind Leng Wuchang. Heart tense, Leng Wuchang replied, "What I must." Sir Leng should oversee the situation outside and not keep watch over the Dragon Vein Seal. You need to deploy the Venerables. Huangpu Fenglei's tone was cold. Information has been received from the imperial capital. The divine dragons are on the move and the emperor is alone. You must have an idea about what we need to do next. Wait and see. Leng Wuchang's reply was on point. Huangpu Fenglei frowned. Sir Leng, please reconsider before making hasty decisions. This is our best chance. Nothing is more important than this moment. Our best choice is to wait and see. Leng Wuchang's eyes never left the array. Huangpu Fenglei felt something was off. Being around Leng Wuchang for so long, he knew this was not his usual style. Wait for what? Huangpu Fenglei glanced about. Sir Leng, how come I haven't seen Estate Lord around? Usually when one of you is around, the other is not far behind. What is he up to being missing for so long? Estate Lord has his own thoughts. It's not something High Venerable needs to worry about. Leng Wuchang tightened his fists, doing his best to maintain calm. Huangpu Fenglei scanned the trembling face and frowned, his suspicions heightened. Sir Leng, Estate Lord is the leader of Regent Estate and in these pressing times he needs to be on duty, to look out for the house's interests. What exactly is going on with him? Sir Leng, you are the steward and must tell me as the High Venerable. It is within my right to know. Leng Wuchang took a deep breath and maintained a straight face. Huangpu Fenglei grew ashen by the second, his aura flashing stronger. He didn't get to squeeze harder as dragon roars came from the center of the array. Roar! Wails of agony echoed in between every roar. Huangpu Fenglei could identify that voice from anywhere. Is Estate Lord inside the seal? Huangpu Fenglei watched it stunned, then became shocked as the 8 dragon souls inside the seal raved. He snapped a savage look on Leng Wuchang. Sir Leng, what the hell is going on here? Why did the Estate Lord enter the array? Knowing when to quit, Leng Wuchang sighed as he explained the events. High Venerable instantly identified the issue. The two had gone over the gathering of elders and used the Bodhi route to train the 9 dragons' diamond body. Huangpu Tianyuan was the Estate Lord, but this crucial decision was too important to be left to one man's decision. This isn't a game. Huangpu Fenglei spat. Have you two forgotten the rules of Regent Estate? How can the two of you make light of the entire house's future? And that Huangpu Tianyuan's talent is lacking, not reaching the radiant stage in decades. He cannot bear the power of the dragon souls. Letting him go in there, you've sent him to his death. No, I have to get him out. Huangpu Fenglei made a sign to open the seal. The question was, did he care so much for that poor man's life? Hell no. If the Estate Lord kicked the bucket, there'd be plenty more candidates where he came from. What the High Venerable cared about the most was the 8 dragon souls getting tamed and by someone other than him. He was the High Venerable here, the peak of Regent Estate's power. The 9 dragons' diamond body should be his. Why waste it on a waste who couldn't even enter the radiant stage? He couldn't and wouldn't accept it. Leng Wuchang moved faster, grabbing his hands. High Venerable, don't be rash. With the Estate Lord training in the 9 dragons' diamond body, it has incited the dragon souls. Open the array now and the dragons will doom us all. Huangpu Fenglei was still considering, but let his hand rest in the end. Leng Wuchang saw through his desires and advised, with Estate Lord's talent, achieving it will be for the best, but any mistake is life-threatening. Albeit a tragedy, at least the dragon souls will remain and finding the next candidate will be easy. We won't be losing much at all in this. The speech hit right where it mattered, making him relax. Yeah, once he drops dead, only I'll be worthy of training in 9 dragons' diamond body. I can't just risk my future by releasing the dragon souls in the heat of the moment. Ah! A shout of pain came from the center, easing Huangpu Fenglei's worries. Humph, with the prick's meager talent, he has next to no chance. Waiting will be better. Huangpu Fenglei sighed, if only a state lord can come back from the brink. May fortune smile upon him. Huangpu Fenglei left, just like that. Sir Leng, I will have 10 venerables watch over the array to prevent any dragon soul from slipping out. Thank you so much, High Venerable. Leng Wuchang bowed. Huangpu Fenglei was gone. With a snicker, Leng Wuchang shook his head. Anyone could tell what Huangpu Fenglei wanted, to have someone inform him of the situation. When there was no more peep coming from Huangpu Tianyuan, he'd strut in, take the Bodhi route and train himself to glory. Just that his plan wouldn't be fulfilled any time soon. Training in 9 Dragons' diamond body needed the dragon souls to gnaw on the user and refine the dragonic soul, leading to the creation of the diamond body. The body could break any time under the process, but with a little nifty doohickey called Bodhi root and its endless vitality to offset this, the chances went through the roof. All that mattered now was the mind. With a little metal to push through the pain, success was practically a given. Huangpu Tianyuan had an average talent, but he was a tough cookie baked through years and years of experience as a state lord. All of these facts led to Leng Wuchang believing that his chances were perfect. Leng Wuchang mocked, if there's one word you can use to sum up human nature, it's greed. Huangpu Fenglei did send his men to keep an eye on things. But as months passed, the guards only got to hear wails upon wails, growing louder and louder, with a dragon roar mixed in every now and then. It was mind-boggling how a human being could even make such sounds. But one thing was clear, the man wasn't anywhere near done. Huangpu Fenglei's mood soured as he counted the days. What's taking him so long to die? Just croak already so I can have a shot. 3 months later, Feng Qiubai's group of 3 came with the emperor's edict to Caged Dragon City, urging Regent Estate to deal with Zhuo Fan. Huangpu Fenglei had had enough of waiting and came down to the array. Sir Leng, the emperor has sent the divine dragons saying they'll help us capture Zhuo Fan. Huangpu Fenglei proclaimed his excuse. Following up with his real intention, how is Estate Lord faring? It sounded so innocently caring, but reaching anyone's ears was, is he dead yet? Leng Wuchang snickered inside, just as the wails and dragon roars stopped. Can it be? Leng Wuchang whipped his head on the array. Huangpu Fenglei lit up like a Christmas tree. He rushed to open the array and peer inside. But the bang halted all movements. The engraved array exploded in a shower of colors, revealing a bloody figure gasping for air, crawling out. Huangpu Tianyuan. Even his wretched figure couldn't hide the violent power surging out of him. Everyone stood agape and aware of one truth. The man was reborn. As for the limit to his newfound strength, if it was legend compliant and 9 Dragons' diamond body was invincible, they had no way to know. Only Huangpu Fenglei's eyes went bloodshot, gnashing his teeth in anger. The punk pulled through. Are the 8 dragon souls in him right now? Estate Lord. Leng Wuchang shouted in joy, congratulations, Estate Lord, upon your success in training the diamond body. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded weakly, his smile faint. The venerables showed no change. Then a sour and insidious voice came, Estate Lord, you have gone over the venerables' council, opened the seal and broke the house's rules. What right do you have to remain its lord? The others nodded. Huangpu Tianyuan's eyes, though, shone like a savage. Chapter 419, Earth Dragon Head. Chapter 419, Earth Dragon Head. He looked up at the white-haired elder bearing a twisted smile and a violent aura around him. He was the second venerable under Huangpu Fenglei. With Huangpu Fenglei around, he was in fact speaking his boss thoughts. Huangpu Fenglei looked coldly at the show. Second venerable, what did you say? I couldn't quite hear you from way over there. Huangpu Tianyuan's face fell, dragging his beaten body to the old man and leaning his ear over. Second Venerable only got more cocky at his feeble look, raising his head to declare in pride, "Like I said, I." Roar. A bellow like a caged dragon came, shaking the hearts of all. Even High Venerable tensed. And Second Venerable, the target of that howl, had his eardrums punctured and started bleeding from his ears. With a puff, his entire head vanished in a black and reeking mouth. SSS. The rest recoiled. They watched the Second Venerable just standing there, headless, with blood sprinkling from his neck. In place of his head, there was now a beast's. Triangular eyes, rough scales and the size, all pointed at it being a dragon head. But the owner of the head was human in body, Huangpu Tianyuan. In a blink, his head had turned into a dragon's, ripping off Grand Peak Radiant Stage's head clean off. The hearts of the rest shuddered as blood seeped from that maw, any complaints lodged in their throats. Huangpu Fenglei was bug-eyed, 9 dragons diamond body, dragon head transformation. This transformation boosted invincible defense and sharp fangs to tear into even a radiant stage body cultivator. Huangpu Tianyuan took 3 months to step into Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong's level of freakishness. To everyone here, he might have even surpassed Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan relied on his 2 fists, while he had the 9 dragons' diamond body, leaving no part untransformed, becoming truly invincible. Cold eyes glanced around the rest. Huangpu Tianyuan's head regained its normal form, though the blood still leaked from his mouth, amplifying the dread. Regent Estate's rule is to listen to the estate lord. I hope venerables will remember that, for your sake. Huangpu Tianyuan snickered a threat. It was about time he felt like a true estate lord. Power demanded authority, demanded the respect and obedience of the world. The venerables lowered their heads. We obey estate lord. Huangpu Fenglei sighed, parroting the others. He knew his chance would never come. In the regent estate, he was no longer the grand poobah, but a mere thug to send on errands. Glancing over at the Second Venerable's body, it just stood there headless, with blood bubbling non-stop, a swift and pointless death. Sighing, everyone turned morose. Their endless glory era as venerables in the regent estate had come to pass. Congratulations, estate lord. We now have the power to fight this war. Leng Wuchang laughed. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded. Zhuo Fan, Gu Santong, we will be seeing each other soon enough, ha ha ha. Estate lord, the emperor's men. Leng Wuchang spoke of the details. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded and showed a cold smile. Humph, just some divine dragons and a shadow captain to monitor me? Naive. Huangpu Fenglei rolled his eyes. Just presumptuous much? To look down on even the likes of divine dragons. Then again, it does make sense. Even united, those 3 can't do anything to him. Mocking them is only natural. Huangpu Fenglei's envy grew with each thought, his drool leaking. It would have been so nice if it were me instead. Alas, it's wasted on an average person like him when it would have shined in the hands of a high venerable. Like yours truly. A darn shame. High Venerable shook his head, which Huangpu Tianyuan ignored, saying to Leng Wuchang, but since they're here to assist, we'd do well to use them. No matter what insidious plot they have, my strength will trump it. Estate Lord is brilliant. This is what I've been waiting for. With Estate Lord's unstoppable power, anything can be settled. Even a fight with Zhuo Fan or the imperial family. Leng Wuchang bowed, excited that his long-cherished ambitions were about to come true. Huangpu Tianyuan laughed, strutting, come, let us meet these experts, ha ha ha. The others bowed and followed. They soon arrived in a lounge, where the divine dragons waited. But the relaxed look on Huangpu Tianyuan had them all tense. Peak Radiant Stage. The trio exchanged shocked looks. They all knew Huangpu Tianyuan was a peak profound heaven cultivator, yet he had now shown up, 3 months later at the same level as them. His speed was more freakish than Zhuo Fan's. They could feel the threat coming from his blood-reeking figure. It only put the 3 on guard. Huangpu Tianyuan's sudden transformation had them on edge. Estate Lord Huangpu, it's been ages. I am impressed. I wonder what miracle art the estate lord used to undergo such an amazing transformation. Fang Qiubai probed. Sima Hui and Shadow King paid their respects as well, tense and eager for the answer. Huangpu Tianyuan grew bolder at their reactions but dodged the question. Please, sit. You have come by the order of the emperor to help Regent Estate capture that traitor. I am truly grateful. Let us discuss our plan of action. The three glossed over Huangpu Tianyuan's obvious secretive nature and said, how should we proceed, estate lord? Ha ha ha, I and Sir Leng have already discussed it. He and Leng Wuchang showed a vague smile, before the first continued, to kill the rider, you first need to remove his horse. We will first clip Zhuo Fan's wings. As you all know, Drifting Flowers edifices, Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquise abode are on Zhuo Fan's side. Before we move against Zhuo Fan, we need to cut him off, beginning with his allies. You just want the houses. Fang Qiubai squinted. Huangpu Tianyuan's wild ambitions were already an open secret. But it all fell under His Majesty's plan anyway, and the three nodded. Then let us begin according to Estate Lord Huangpu's plan. Sima Hui nodded. Huangpu Tianyuan was giddy inside. That line was the same as having the imperial family validate his thirst for power, that they wouldn't interfere in his campaign. This is the best chance in history. Though clear that the imperial family wouldn't butt in because it had its own hands full. He had to move faster, before the imperial family finished settling up its affairs and the situation would enter a deadlock again. Huangpu Tianyuan thus put in action the plan of attack on the three houses and notified Hell Valley and Pil King Hall to coordinate. What neither side knew was that in the middle of their talks, subtle signals kept pouring out from their location. They spread to the tree outside, then to the stone table. And they kept going further beyond, going from one location to another. It went on for miles. A dozen miles out of Caged Dragon City, in a forest, a figure in black leaned on a huge tree in meditation. When the tree let out a signal as well, the figure opened his eyes and used ascending jade. It flew high in the sky, gone in a blink. Chapter 420, Zhuo Fan's Thoughts. Chapter 420, Zhuo Fan's Thoughts. Where's Zhuo Fan? I have crucial intelligence. In the Luo clan hall on Blackwind Mountain, Lei Yuding in all black, skipped over. She asked once she saw only Yen Fu was around, playing the assistant and handling resources. Yen Fu pointed at the floor, go to the bunker. Steward Zhua has been there for the past few days. Thanks. Lei Yuding waved. Yen Fu asked before she got away, Captain Lei, just what intelligence has got you so giddy? Nothing much, just that the Regent Estate is on the move. Not to attack us, but our three allies. We have more time to prepare. What? Yen Fu shouted, rushing over, is the information accurate? Let me see. Lei Yuding raised an eyebrow, what's got you in such a tizzy? It's got nothing to do with you. And this is for the steward's eyes first. An assistant has no right to see it. Yen Fu paused and nodded. It was one of Zhuo Fan's rules to prevent a leak and maintain secrecy. Anyone caught breaking it would be in for a severe punishment. Even with this rule, he was still worried, Captain Lei, let's go to Steward Zhua. Even if you do report it, with me there as well, he'll allow it. Lei Yuding nodded. The two soon arrived at the bunker. There were people everywhere. Luo clan's guards with the Yun clan's people made up for 10,000 heads, busying themselves in every corner of the cave according to the orders from the front. That was where Zhuo Fan and Yun Shuang were. He was ostensibly making an array, unknown as of yet to what end. Humph, Steward Zhua, you sure are a good headhunter. Flirting and working at the same time, not missing a single second. Lei Yuding saw the two close and jealousy reared its head. Yun Shuang blushed and lowered her head. Zhuo Fan only raised an eyebrow, Miss Lei, what brings you here? You should be out there gathering intel. Humph, I came here to report. Lei Yuding threw a jade slip, her tone cold at the lovely couple. Steward Zhua, how's it going between you and Miss Schwanger? Any progress? Be nice. Schwanger is Yun clan's holy maiden. We're only discussing how to direct her people. Zhua Fan turned his attention to the jade slip. Zhua Fan's cold attitude had her even more enraged. So she turned a broken smile to Yun Shuang. Miss Schwanger, let me give you a warning. Zhua Fan is unreliable. He draws a pretty crowd, but he only sticks around for 3 months at most, taking the girl and all her possessions. Your sister here is a living witness and victim. So I warn you, as someone who has gone through this already, be on guard around the thieving Zhua Fan. So you are soft towards Steward Zhua as well. I thought it's only young Miss Luo. Schwanger blinked her large innocent eyes. Lei Yuding flushed, still holding her head high in stubbornness. No way. Why would I look at him? Yeah, you don't like me, so don't talk behind my back. Ha ha ha. Zhua Fan opened his eyes and chuckled. Regent Estate is finally moving, and against those houses. Not bad at all, just as I predicted. The others were stunned. Why is he so happy if his allies are in the dumps? If our allies cave, won't we be without cover? Yan Fu grew frantic. Steward Zhua, when will Regent Estate strike? How will we assist? Why would we assist? Zhua Fan's eyes flashed. This is exactly what I want, for the Regent Estate to attack them. If I had to deal with them personally, besides making it awkward for me, it'll be hard to get them on my side. What? Everyone was in complete shock. Zhua Fan had no intention of repelling the Regent Estate's raid, but was thinking about how to integrate his allies. Those houses were his support, with Veiled Dragon Pavilion being the very first. Selling them out like this and even turning on them would be a new low. Zhua Fan snickered at their thoughts. You're too naive. There's no such thing as an everlasting friend in this world. Even if we beat Regent Estate and the rest back and crown ourselves kings, our alliance with the houses would have run its course and we'd have a conflict of interests. They'll look at us as the new Regent Estate. It's better to take this prime opportunity and deal with them, ending with a truly peaceful community. This is the way to go. Ain't that right, Miss Yun Shuang? Zhua Fan snickered. Doesn't your clan always advocate salvation? That's just what I'm doing. Yun Shuang mulled over his words. Zhua Fan was as despicable as it got, but changing perspective, it would be for a noble cause, for the people's future. She nodded. Lei Yuding remained silent. Only Yan Fu was fretful. Steward Zhua, why you really don't care about them? How can I not? Am I not taking them all in with open arms instead of wiping them out? I do have a modicum of conscience, you know. Grinning, Zhua Fan paused. Here's how it's going to play out. Going by the intel, Regent Estate will act in 3 months, so we'll notify our allies 2 months later. Without any preparation, their 1,000-year legacy won't save them, though they can still flee. Leaves us as the only option to turn to. And since they'll be in our house, they'll know to keep their heads down. We'll use this chance to integrate them while making them eternally grateful for our help. That's just how good I am, doing them a favor. Now ain't that a twofer? Rotten. Everyone revolted. They were sickened by his methods, yet bowed in respect. Such a heartless move could only come from the bottom of a blackened blood pump of a demon like Zhua Fan. Watching the world aflame and swooping in to reap the spoils, that was his style all right. He would profit and earn fame, more devious and sly than a fox could ever be. Killing their whole house, yet the victims would be ever grateful. That was only something a conscience-free lowlife scum who felt no remorse about snuffing out a human life would do. But this was the only way for the Luo clan to come out as the biggest winner. Though Yan Fu was morose after hearing the plan. Zhua Fan asked, Yan Fu, why the long face? With your usual self, you'd never care about the next person. Steward Zhua, could you please save Drifting Flowers edifices? Dandan, Yan Fu hesitated. The brat must be head over heels. This thought led him to a more worrying one. Nice, I approve of a man like you. You stand up for that woman in times of danger. Not like a certain unmentionable someone, so callous and scheming even after spending time with their edifice lord. Lei Yuding slapped Yan Fu's back in praise, sneaking a glance at Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan frowned, then shut his eyes. After a sigh, he left. His voice traveled to the shocked ears of everyone. Send word to Drifting Flowers edifices. Tell them to evacuate to Luo clan. As for the other 2 houses, 2 months later. Thank you, Steward Zhua. Yan Fu perked up and left happy. Lei Yuding watched Zhuo Fan's lonely back, then gave Yun Shuang one last word of sincere advice. Miss Shuanger, give up while you have no feelings for him. His heart belongs to someone else. Yun Shuang was puzzled. Lei Yuding sighed, I know him to be a principled man of strength and decisiveness that won't change no matter what. The only 2 times he has lost himself was in Beast King Mountain, over Ninger, and now. I reckon it's over the Drifting Flowers edifice's edifice lord. Sighing, Lei Yuding left. As I cannot move that man, I will give up. Yun Shuang shuddered. She was an ascetic holy maiden with her mind solely focused on the future. But now, she has sunk into perplexity. As Zhuo Fan left the bunker, he went deeper into the forest, sullen. A blue-robed person popped up in front of him, Vicious Pill King Yen Song. Elder Yen, what is it? Zhuo Fan glanced. Yen Song was flushed from worry. Steward Zhua, I heard you've let them use 6th-grade ingredients to make 3rd-grade pills. Yes, won't it raise their success rate? Zhuo Fan nodded. Yen Song's heart was bleeding, but Steward Zhua, isn't that a waste? Zhuo Fan grinned, Elder Yen, here's the thing. In half a year, I plan on seeing 100,000 3rd-grade pills, the spirit melding pill. After so many years of being in your care, that batch of hundreds of people can only make a 3rd-grade pill at best, with a low chance of success as well. To get 100,000 pills, I can only use high-grade ingredients to boost the odds. But isn't it still a waste? Yen Song was an alchemist and felt pain seeing them go like that. Zhuo Fan mocked, his eyebrow high, it's fine, we're rich. Zhuo Fan left suddenly and came back with the biggest haul of the century. And the original plan to bake 10,000 pills was upped to 100,000. It not only meant more work for them, but it had an even lower chance of success, so Zhuo Fan compensated with riches. No matter how much Yen Song cherished every leaf and petal, he had to accept it, going back slumped and depressed. Zhuo Fan's voice was heard from afar, oh, Elder Yen, tell Elder Li and the others to gather. We're leaving for Hell Valley soon. And those profound heaven fakers, have them come as well. Zhuo Fan's eyes glinted as his mouth curled in a twisted snicker. Chapter 421, Raiding Hell Valley. Chapter 421, Raiding Hell Valley. Whoosh. Thousands of people landed, their gaze forward. A misty valley stretched just out of reach, black and violet, sinister and creepy. A jacked-up old man walked into the thick mist with a smile. At some point, Li Jingtian looked back at Zhuo Fan. Hell Valley sure is cautious, activating their 5th-grade array already. We'll need at least a day to break it. Which house doesn't have misgivings in these troubled times? It's all within my calculations. Zhuo Fan went to the front and investigated the mist with a mocking gaze. As for punching through, it won't take that long. Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed in a double golden halo, Divine Eye of the Void's 2nd stage, Void Annihilation. Whoosh! A vibrating ray shot out of Zhuo Fan's eye and into Hell Valley. Followed by a series of booms and bangs, the mist trembled twice before lifting completely. Li Jingtian looked at Zhuo Fan in glee and a thumbs up, he, that's our Steward Zhua. Breaking an array like this is so damn convenient. When it comes to arrays relying on space, you just have to burst their bubble and the array would unravel by itself. That's what this move of mine is all about. There's nothing great about it, Zhuo Fan casually said. But Li Jingtian sighed inside, if it's that easy, do you see anyone else doing it? Zhuo Fan's every move was simple yet astonishing to anybody who witnessed his feats. Li Jingtian held Zhuo Fan in even higher regard. The array is open, attack. Zhuo Fan motioned. Li Jingtian led the charge, taking thousands of bone-tempering cultivators and rare profound heaven ones deeper inside. The men shouted and roared, the black cloud unleashing a frenzied raid on the valley, swallowing it. The patrols couldn't even shout as the massive influx of people was in their face. The shock and fear was buried so deep inside that they were reduced to standing there dumbly rather than sound the alarm. Oh gods above, what the hell is this? Did the array fail for so many to come in? How did they all get in so fast? They were so out of it, they simply waited for the attackers to reap them. The only reaction out of the patrols was when spiritual weapons pierced their chests. The cries became wails as blood and gore splattered everywhere. Their bodies slumping lifeless. The assault kept on charging unimpeded. Enemy attack. A final shout rose up every disciple, discovering their home was invaded, and they shouted out in panic. Zhuo Fan's timing was excellent, catching them at their lowest, finishing off the panicking Hell Valley disciples. Oh, there were some brave defenders popping every now and then to stem the tide, but they didn't even get to take out their demonic treasures as a group of elite youths surrounded them for a second, then left behind a mangled body as they moved on to the next target. The captains in this assault were the stalwart guards Zhuo Fan had Captain Pang train in the Wraith art 10 years ago. This was their first sortie of this scale, and for some, their very first kill. Yet they all took to it like fish to water, showing no remorse. Unlike the wretched and excruciating torture called training, watching the friends around them fall one by one, the killing here was a breeze. Zhuo Fan had sent them to hell to come back as fiends that not even the likes of a cruel and bloody war could shake. These kids will be the cornerstones of the house. Zhuo Fan stood on a distant peak, watching and analyzing the situation. Li Jingtian nodded in praise, Steward Zhuo, the training of all those years has paid up, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan closed his eyes, tuning into the natural symphony around him, of cries, wails, pleadings, slumping bodies in their own blood, forming a sweet melody to his ears and bringing an innocent and genial smile to his lips. These sounds gave the signal for the Luo clan's expansion. Luo clans marched to rule them all with an iron fist. It was what he had hoped and aimed for. This goal of his was finally taking shape. Meanwhile, a stone gate flew open as a bloody and filthy Hell Valley disciple plopped inside, blood gurgling from his throat. The 4 elders inside cried, "What is going on out there?" "Enemy, attack," the disciple gave his very life uttering those 2 words. His head slumped, his life gone. All that remained were eyes filled with horror, further unnerving the men. This is absurd. Just what the hell is going on? Who are the ignorant fools that dare set foot in Hell Valley? The leader roared. Another said, but why has there been no reaction from the array? Has it been breached? The 4 panicked. It had to be done swiftly for these elders to not notice until now that they had been invaded. What power must have done this? The 4 released their discerning fields. Their mind's eye view had them all gasping. They saw a swarm of people shouting as they killed anyone they saw. Their 10,000 disciples couldn't muster a token of resistance against a meager few thousand. The 4 senses looked further and noticed 2 men on a hill. One was in the 3rd layer of Profound Heaven stage and was ignored, turning to the Peak Radiance stage expert next to him. The 4 men felt like crying. The number of Peak Radiance stage experts in Tianyu could be counted on one hand. How come one of them has come to Hell Valley? The High Venerable was in the 5th layer while the rest were only in the 4th. Not even together could they hope to beat that freak. For God's sake, who the hell is it? Regent estate or imperial family? What did we do to have them wipe us out? One complained. High Venerable shook his head. No, Valley Lord said we're still allied with Regent estate. As for the imperial family, it's now stuck dealing with problems cropping up in the last 1,000 years. It won't come. And that radiant stage expert's aura feels familiar. High Venerable, do you know him? The rest shouted. High Venerable shuddered and sighed, how could I ever forget? We all know him. Didn't we witness him clashing with Huangpu Fenglei on the eve of the Luo clan ceremony? Mad Dipper. They all cried. High Venerable nodded depressed. What's worse, what other profound heaven expert do you know of who stands by his side? It's Shuo Fan, that demonic steward of Luo clan. We all saw him taking Li Jingtian and Huangpu Fenglei's all-out attacks like nothing. We have no hope of winning. The other three's hearts sunk to the bottom, their faces ashen. They couldn't even handle one of them. The four old men felt like weeping. Shuo Fan has finally struck. We get it that you have to attack at some point, but why come to us? Wasn't the regent estate always against you at every turn? We've already lost enough elders to you, so why come back for more? Think we're pushovers now, is that it? They all felt like heaven had beset them with the greatest grief in the world. But reality came knocking and they had to man up to the danger. High Venerable's eyes flashed with resolve. Old Third, you are the fastest. Fly to Valley Lord and report the situation. We three will buy you time. Elder brother. Old Third teared up. But High Venerable nodded with a reassuring smile. Shuo Fan had his eyes turned to the source of those discerning fields. Oh, for senses have picked us up. So what's taking those geezers so long to come out? Are they scared and huddled together? He, totally. Li Jingtian laughed. Chapter 422, Singing Another Tune. Chapter 422, Singing Another Tune. Whoosh. 3 figures flashed on the battlefield, ignoring the whales below and going in Shuo Fan's direction. Shuo Fan mocked, humph, such guts to come at me instead of running. He, I think they are instead coming here to die. Li Jingtian snickered. The 3 venerables appeared in their sights. They all came with clear thoughts of becoming martyrs while holding the enemy back. But seeing the 2 savages had them shaking still. High Venerable scrutinized them, gulped and found any word lacking in this situation. The other 2 sighed. Scared before even fighting. Now what? Brother, we have to buy the Old Third some time. Recalling his mission, High Venerable took a deep breath and scrounged up the scraps of courage within to shout, Shuo Fan, you've gone too. Shuo Fan had no time to indulge in this guy's pedantic style and asked, weren't there 4 senses? Where's the other one? High Venerable's courage got stuck in his throat. Shuo Fan's haughty and obnoxious attitude, like a big kahuna, lorded over them with such pressure that their heads jerked back. This was called the power gap. They were like first-level spiritual beasts facing a 6th-level spiritual beast, with no chance whatsoever at coming out alive. The 3 threatened to burst out in tears. They were radiant stage cultivators, Hell Valley's venerables, but they couldn't even get a worthy death. Li Jingtian cracked up, jarring to their ears. Shuo Fan shook his head, not like one missing person would make a difference. Shuo Fan took out a gourd and let bloodworms wiggle out. They looked downright eager to get out of that darkness they had known all their lives, ready to enjoy the big outdoors. Here's the deal. Eat it and you're one of us, becoming Luo clan's elders. Don't, and I'll just have to take you back as corpses. Shuo Fan was like a tyrant in his demands. The 3 jerked and panicked. Shuo Fan had actually come to them to offer an olive branch. With Shuo Fan's illustrious reputation of a savage demon, and the bad blood between the houses, they had the impression that he had come here to cull them. They were even ready to lay down their lives. So why were they so happy? To a dead man, a glimmer of hope would blossom in his heart, the instinct of self-preservation with a force that couldn't be denied. It was like jumping off a cliff and then finding out that there was an extra rope beside you. Would you capture it, or let it slip? What kind of dumb choice is that? Who's so retarded to take splattering as an upside to life? But the life veterans that the old fogies were, agreeing so quickly would net them what? A lower status. Hence, ergo and propter hoc, High Venerable stroked his beard, held his head high and put on airs, Zhuo Fan, if you're going headhunting, isn't it a bit thin? We are, after all, Hell Valleys. Elderly, kill, M. Zhuo Fan deadpanned. Li Jingtian grinned, cracking his knuckles as a fire lit in his eyes. The three jerked like mice, waving around in panic. Let's be reasonable. Don't resort to violence. Humph, you old coots, I've already said my piece. One more or less will hardly make a difference. Yet you dare posture before me? It's to the afterlife with you. Zhuo Fan snorted. The three jerked and bobbed their heads like cute children. Holding out the gourd, Zhuo Fan watched them each swallow a bloodworm. And so, easy peasy lemon squeezy, Luo clan gained 3 more radiant stage elders. Though Zhuo Fan didn't give a flying fig about them, they were of even less value than Yen Song, a peak profound heaven expert. But every penny counted, even if those pennies were so thin and corroded that you wanted to throw them, they all had their use sometime, in the long future. And the newly baked elders? Now they were clued in as to why a die-hard expert like Li Jingtian fell in with Zhuo Fan. Besides bloodworm's control, Zhuo Fan's attitude left no room for dissidence. Sir Zhuo. Steward Zhuo. Zhuo Fan's icy tone warned. High Venerable jerked and nodded. Steward Zhuo, we have another elder sneaking out to report. He is still close. Should I call him to join Steward Zhuo's camp? The other 2 bobbed. The 4 of them were a clique. With 3 of them coerced into working under Zhuo Fan, the day would come when they'd have to kill their brother. So having the old third join the gang in one big happy family worked out smashingly. Zhuo Fan shook his head. No need, 1 less won't make a difference. The 3 looked downcast. Steward Zhuo never gave a hoot about us. It was best to play it safe and not get on the young master's nerve. They reckoned not even Li Jingtian could take his punishment if he did. While they would downright breathe their last in the process. Better wag my tail at every order. Luo clan is a den of monsters. We are 3 radiant stage experts here, yet this young master doesn't bat an eye. Tears welled up again, the fond times of being at the top seemed so far away. You 3, the fighting isn't over. Go lend a hand. Zhuo Fan glanced at the slaughter below and ordered. They shuddered. The fighting was one-sided to begin with and them going would only speed things up. Zhuo Fan was having them go for another reason, to make them kill their own disciples. A second ago they were still Hell Valley's venerables, yet in the next moment they were ordered to go kill their own clansmen. It was a little hard to take. Steward Zhuo, a man of power, should look after the ones below him. How about I try and get Hell Valley's disciples to join the Luo clan? High Venerable looked on pleading. Li Jingtian nodded. It's not a bad idea, Steward. Kill. Zhuo Fan snapped. Your status in Luo clan is based solely on merit. With no merit, we'll be off with your head. Luo clan does not raises pansies. SSS. Zhuo Fan clearly wanted Hell Valley dead to the last man, dog and weed. If the 3 venerables dragged their feet any longer, they'd soon join the bloody mud. This wasn't as simple as turning coats, but was cutting off any relation with Hell Valley. And these 3 were demonic cultivators, without shame or remorse. Now that they had grasped a lifeline, would they let it get cut over something as insipid as integrity? The 3 swooped in without preamble. They had tried their best to plead the kid's case to Zhuo Fan. It's not our fault Zhuo Fan wants us to kill you. Kill, brothers. Stand your ground. One tall disciple shouted, waving his sinister saber, pushing back the 5 enemies around. I've already notified the venerables. They will soon provide help. Just hold on. Whoosh. A gray robe appeared before him. The disciple shouted in joy, High Venerable, you're finally. The bright smile froze on his face as his chest gained an extra large breathing room, with blood seeping out. The High Venerable flashed to his next target. Just that this one, who had been holding on for the better part of an hour, froze on his spot as happiness was replaced with doubt. What the hell? Why is the High Venerable attacking us? In this moment of greatest doubt in his life, he lost his life. Each Venerable flitted across the battlefield, across every corner. Because they were Radiant stage experts who were Hell Valley's Venerables, once they joined the war effort, they mowed down the disciples by the scores. Zhuo Fan watched it all with a cold critical eye and a snicker. Li Jingtian didn't get it. Steward Zhuo, why did you shoot down that old guy's proposal? In times of war, one needs to avoid surrendering before even battling. We are on the brink of clashing with Regent Estate and I can't have unknowns left in our midst. If anything, I don't have enough bloodworms to control them all. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. Besides, what Luo clan lacks is experts. These three coots got invited to cover this weakness. Letting them come on board with their entire clan will make this harder, maybe even capsize us. Li Jingtian shuddered inside and cupped his hands. I am in awe of Steward Zhuo's impeccable scheming. Chapter 423, Slaughter and Desecration. Chapter 423, Slaughter and Desecration. The raid on Hell Valley ended as quickly as it had begun. Valley Lord Yuanshan and the elders were visiting Regent Estate for the plans on how to deal with Drifting Flowers edifices and the others. Of the 4 venerables guarding the valley, 1 escaped, 3 turned and the valley now looked like the aftermath of a tornado. Even with a number of 10,000, the disciples couldn't handle the incoming raid of just a few thousands of Luo clan's guards, for more than a few short hours and were killed to the last one. At the first light of a glorious red dawn, the hellscape of the valley laid bare. The howls halted, the place deserted, with only streams of blood flowing down the mountains, releasing its repugnant stench. And as a true picture of hell, it couldn't do without corpses, lots and lots of them to make a mountain. All strewn about, waiting for anyone to come give them a proper burial. Steward Zhuo, it's done. Li Jingtian glanced below at the genocide and turned a flat face to Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan spoke after a pause, take the bodies back to Luo clan. We can now get on to more serious matters. Getting serious? Taking Hell Valley wasn't serious enough? Li Jingtian asked. Zhuo Fan grinned, ha ha ha, did you think I'd need so many people to destroy Hell Valley? Us two are more than enough. Then, Li Jingtian probed. Zhuo Fan said, desecration. SSS. Li Jingtian shuddered and gasped, Steward Zhuo, the dead are to be respected. Is your hatred with Hell Valley running so deep that you need to dig up their ancestors? Ha ha ha, you're jumping too far ahead. I never cared a whit about Hell Valley 9 years ago, and it goes double now. Besides, the most people I've killed came from this house. They should be the one hating me to the bone, not the other way around. Then why? Li Jingtian was lost. Zhuo Fan had a crafty smile, go do your part while I do mine. Li Jingtian left because he believed Zhuo Fan's every decision was backed by reason. The Luo clan obeyed Zhuo Fan's orders to the letter, taking it like any ordinary day back at the job. Only the Hell Valley venerables were jumpy. They had turned their backs on Hell Valley in exchange for their lives and were now forced to do such tasks. Faced with the order of digging up their ancestors, they just couldn't do it. That was where Hell Valley's elders, valley lords and venerables were laid to rest. What logical explanation did the posterity have to dig them up? This is outrageous. The trio were going to see Zhuo Fan about this. Preach reason, that the 2 clans weren't enemies to such a degree. Li Jingtian saw through their intent and glared, you, newbies, listen up and listen well. In Luo clan, Steward Zhuo's word is law. Any complaints you have will be met with a quick trip down under. Li Jingtian flew away. The trio sighed in helplessness, stopping in their tracks. A guest could only play a guest in a host's home. Since Steward Zhuo wants us to shame our ancestors to get our trust, we're his men. They took this task as Zhuo Fan's test of loyalty, to have them break all ties with Hell Valley. After flipping over one's granddaddy's tomb, one lost all right to call this place home. A darn shame that all their conjectures were wrong from the get-go. Zhuo Fan never cared about them. But to prove their change of heart, they worked the hardest in tomb raiding their long ancestors. Li Jingtian didn't take much to have them figured out and laughed. Steward Zhuo, these old coots will do anything to get your trust, ha ha ha, Li Jingtian mocked. Zhuo Fan had a faint smile, nothing strange about it. Respecting one's ancestors is the righteous way, while demonic cultivators only pay attention to power. That makes digging up one's old man more common with demonic cultivators. When taking people in, one needs to keep an eye on their character. These three are expert demonic cultivators. I don't care if they bear any grudge for me after this, since all you have to do is sit on them and they'll be as meek as lambs. Steward Zhuo is a genius. That's why you sent the order to have them dig their ancestors. You never feared their resentment. You truly know the heart of a demonic cultivator. Li Jingtian laughed. Zhuo Fan shook his head, hardly. Righteous cultivators aren't any different. Give them enough incentive and they'll do the most menial and nasty thing you ask. Just that they had to always dress it up with fancy justice. Like they do it, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan had a strange smile, throwing Li Jingtian off on a loop. Li Jingtian's eyes lit up, having picked up something in the corner. The Luo clan members were digging up Hell Valley's ancestors, everywhere but there. 24 people moved around the place and looked around, not doing much of anything. They were the emperor-bestowed profound heaven fakers. While the rest of the Luo clan was putting their backs into it, they didn't do so much as lift a pebble. Blast it, these guys were last in the Battle of Hell Valley and now they're goofing off when it comes to work. See how I'll give them an earful. Li Jingtian stomped, but Zhuo Fan stopped him from going. Elderly, easy, let them go. Besides, they've completed their mission. When we return, take care of them and make sure the 3 newbies see it to drive fear into them. Their mission? Yep, leaking. Zhuo Fan snickered, why else would I bring these losers along? To drag me back. Then you. Let them inform the emperor. Zhuo Fan smiled, even before the Luo clan rose to power, the emperor had these guys play the moles. That's why I had Elder Lei handle them all this time, letting them report only what we wanted. After feeding them for so long, they finally have a use, to report to the emperor. What? But. Steward Zhuo, why do this? Isn't the emperor focused on you? Li Jingtian jumped in fright. Zhuo Fan was reckless. If the imperial family joined Regent Estate in coming here, they were finished. Zhuo Fan could escape with his ridiculous power, but the Luo clan members would fall for sure. All the effort spent raising them for the last decade would go to waste. Zhuo Fan laughed, elderly, that's only half true. He isn't focused just on me, but on everyone. Taking the lone road means everyone in this world is your enemy, be it in the court or outside it. Blinking, Li Jingtian was still lost, and Zhuo Fan continued, elderly, who do you think he wants to kill right now? You, of course. He even allowed the 7 houses to use the demon purging decree. Ha ha ha, wrong. He wants to get rid of chess pieces. Me, Regent Estate and Zhuge Changfeng included. How will the nation change if he only gets rid of me? Regent Estate will get the houses, becoming the biggest power outside court and a threat to him. While in court, Zhuge Changfeng will be against him every step of the way. This is something he wants to avoid at all costs. So after getting wind of what we're doing here, he will not only sweep it under the rug, but even help me. Zhuo Fan's eyes shined, his voice firm. That confused Li Jingtian even more, help you? Indeed. Zhuo Fan smiled, I can't kick the bucket just yet, or Regent Estate will have free reign. We got word that he has sent divine dragons to assist the regent estate. To help alright, but it's only a thinly veiled disguise to force them into fighting us. He doesn't want us to remain in a stalemate. But when I make my move, because regent estate is stronger, they will act faster than me. At that time, the help will drag the regent estate down, to give us room to build strength and fight only when we're on equal footing. That's the best way for the emperor to swoop in and swallow us both. By letting those fools snitch to the emperor, I am in fact telling him that I've made my move and plan on removing his biggest thorn, the 7 houses. This will make his day for sure, and he'll tell Feng Qiubai to hold back Regent Estate's campaign against our allies while giving me time to take these corpses back and refine them. That's all we need. Once we get these bodies ready, no one in Tianyu can stand up to us. It will be ours for the taking, ha ha ha. Cackling, Zhuo Fan's eyes shone with confidence. The emperor had taken into account every step across the board. But what he overlooked were my killer moves. This will be his downfall. Li Jingtian stared at him befuddled, then exclaimed, Steward Zhuo, although I am rough and a boor and can't understand a word, I do sense you have victory in sight. He, that's great. You guys play your schemes as mere games. If I had my own faction, I'd be twisted around your fingers till I breathed my last. Chapter 424, Worse Than Death. Chapter 424, Worse Than Death. Whoosh. The Luo clan needed 10 days to dig the entire cemetery 3 feet deep, the ancestors across countless generations seeing the light of day once again. There were over 1,000 profound heaven experts and hundreds of radiant stage experts. Zhuo Fan looked mighty pleased at the lineup. The 1,000-year legacy of the 7 houses isn't just for prop. Li Jingtian flashed before the profound heaven fakers, take the bodies to the clan. Understood. The fakers bowed and got ready, but Li Jingtian blocked them. The 24 fakers looked at him doubtful. Snickering, Li Jingtian said, that is meant for the others. I have something special in mind for you. What? Li Jingtian grinned, to add you to the pile. The men cried, elderly, why? What did we do wrong? Leaking information, playing tricks, disobedience, to name a few. Li Jingtian stressed every word with malice. The fakers shivered, having been exposed as spies. They were on their knees in a heartbeat. Spare us, elderly, it's not what we wanted either. Boom. A mere flick sent such a violent wind that scattered them all over the place, blood and gore raining down. Humph, had you just owned up you'd still have a corpse, but you just had to caw in my ear making me do it myself. Li Jingtian flicked, ignoring the gory sight. The Luo clan's disciples were used to their elders' methods, taking it in stride. They moved the corpses like nothing had happened. While the newbie trio gulped and panicked more as they saw the people's faces. Are these guys Azuras from hell? Don't they feel anything? Their comrades in battle just got wasted, yet there's no reaction. Are they made of stone? Most of the Luo clan's disciples were around 20 years of age, but this sight had the elders shaking in fear. They had no clue how Zhuo Fan shaped them up into such cold-blooded killing machines. Watching the dead faces of the youths filled them with dread. Is this the real Luo clan? The trio rejoiced for turning sides. Even if Luo clan wouldn't get to rule the land soon, these youths would grow into a fiendish squadron that would level the nation in the future. Compared to Luo clan's strong elders, these youths were the most frightening asset. Zhuo Fan isn't normal. Even though they were demonic cultivators themselves, they'd never thought of running their disciples through hell, to say nothing of doing it en masse. Besides fear, the trio now had respect when looking at the distant Zhuo Fan. Demonic cultivators worshipped strength. Zhuo Fan not only had power, but endless tricks, opening their eyes to the true meaning of the term demonic. You 3, listen up. A shout roused the trio out of their reverie. Li Jingtian stared at them and they lowered their heads. Escort the people carrying the bodies back to Luo clan. Don't mess up. If I find out that you've been up to no good, Humph. Well, let me tell you, you've taken Steward Zhuo's bloodworm and in 1,000 miles he can have your heads. Get the picture? Yes, totally. Don't worry, elderly, we will never slight this. The three bowed in unison. Li Jingtian nodded and flew back to Zhuo Fan. The elders had finally taken their betrayal seriously, not like they had a choice. Be it Zhuo Fan or Li Jingtian, both of their methods were cruel. They didn't even flinch slaughtering their own men. Won't killing us come easier? Scared of Li Jingtian's display, the trio became meek, taking their mission as their calling, being stuck on escort duty. Zhuo Fan took out a parchment with many lines on it, Hell Valley's domain map and its cities. There were also thousands of red dots on it. Handing it over to Li Jingtian, he said, Elderly, gather 1,000 swift men and have them dig 3 feet on these spots. Also, send word around of our purging of Hell Valley, have those vassals of theirs crumble in fear. On it. Regardless of doubts, Li Jingtian followed his orders as always. The 1,000-men detachment spread in all directions, sweeping the Hell Valley domain in search of their targets. Zhuo Fan and Li Jingtian began their own search. Beneath a huge tree, they dug up a man-sized clay figure. It looked human yet lacked the feel of one. It also had a natural vibe to it, just like ginseng, yet this one was in the shape of a human. It had closed eyes and withered just like a plant. The more Li Jingtian looked at it, the odder he felt, like this thing in front of him was human yet wasn't. Steward Zhuo, just what is this thing? Why haven't I heard of it? Li Jingtian asked. Zhuo Fan shook his head, it is a man, and our clan's scout. He had to be buried here for 3 to 4 years. What? Li Jingtian cried. Zhuo Fan explained, Elderly, you understand the cruelty of wraith art. To a martial fanatic like you, it means nothing, but if those children train in it. Well, you know the odds of success are slim at best. Li Jingtian nodded. But do you know what happens to the rejects? Zhuo Fan had a deep look as he regarded Li Jingtian and patted the clay figure, yes, they turn into this, becoming our ears. SSS. Gasping, Li Jingtian looked stunned. The clay doll had no human feel. No matter how he scanned it, it was just not human, yet it once was. Steward Zhuo said just now that it can send information, but how? Zhuo Fan continued, on failing to cultivate the wraith art, one would die at worst, while at best they would have their meridians shattered and live the rest of their life as a vegetable. But the demonic path has a skill, myriad breaths, a soul-cultivating cultivation method. Though not without its caveats. Only the soul alone can be trained, turning the vessel into a dried husk. In time, the soul's aura will, along with the body, blend in with nature, turning into this human pillar. Don't take it for just a clay man, when in fact it has a soul stronger than a profound heaven expert's. And with its sublime feel, tuning in with nature itself, not even a radiant stage expert can pick up on it. I had the kids who failed to train in wraith art, train in this myriad breaths and become human pillars. Miss Lei and her team buried them in the 7 houses vicinity, at their doorsteps. Through their souls, they send out the information in a 1,000-meter radius. In this way, it is relayed to our scouts 100 miles away where it is decrypted through another method and safely brought back to me. How else could we have known of Regent Estate's plan to attack our allies? That Valley Lord took his elders to Regent Estate and left his home empty for us to attack. Although Luo clan was late in setting up its intelligence network, we are without a doubt the best in Tianyu. Zhuo Fan laughed at Li Jingtian's goony look. There is such a magical art in this world. And Steward Zhuo used it to gather intel. Looking down at the silent clay man, Li Jingtian sighed, just who could make such a degenerate cultivation method? What's the point of having a strong soul if you'll end up like this, a frozen husk? This is a life worse than death, living in constant pain. Correct. That's just what this cultivation method offers, a life worse than death. And its creator didn't even train in it. Zhuo Fan smiled, when that old demon created it, he had his disciples train in it to devour their souls and boost his own. Because of the soul's natural feel, it was easily assimilated. In just 1 year, the geezer entered the radiant stage from the profound heaven stage. In 3, he was in the ethereal stage. You can actually do that? Li Jingtian's sad look turned brighter, drooling at the clay man. The kid training in myriad breaths can be such a wonderful tonic. Who knew? Zhuo Fan mocked, elderly, let me stop you right there. There's no such thing as shortcuts in cultivation. I haven't finished telling you how the old demon met his end. His speed was fast, but the souls of his disciples were filled with anguish and despair. And because anger and despair built up so much inside of him, his soul disintegrated under the strain. If not for this, I'd have used the thousands of Luo clan human pillars for myself. Shuddering, Li Jingtian chuckled awkwardly. I should have known by now, Steward Zhuo isn't one to let any chance slip. This goes to show the method has issues. Chapter 425, Fodder is Fodder. Chapter 425, Fodder is Fodder. Zhuo Fan took Li Jingtian across the central area of Hell Valley, picking up human pillars and spreading rumors of Hell Valley's destruction at the hands of the Luo clan. This breaking news created a wave that shook all of Tianyu. No one had seen it coming, that Luo clan would ignore everything and strike down Hell Valley without a rhyme or reason. Any Tianyu citizen worth his salt knew that the 7 houses and imperial family were in a balance and that the imperial family would never allow for another house war to break out. The testament was Regent Estate holding on to its ambitions for Drifting Flowers edifices for the past 1,000 years, just so that the imperial family wouldn't get an excuse. But Luo clan, in all its insufferable boldness, had ruined everything. It tore its confinement, lashed in the face of the people, and ripped Hell Valley off the face of this world. It was not just a petty house squabble either, but a show of force to the emperor. All clans had now turned their gazes to the emperor, waiting for his response. They were also praising Zhuo Fan's powder keg-like temper, thinking that lashing out at the emperor wasn't bad enough for him to go ahead and drag his clan down with him as well. This was a hefty crime deserving of total annihilation. In the face of the new house's rebellion, the people were looking forward to the emperor's response. But the average citizen had no clue how the big bosses above him were clashing. That every faction was looking at this development with eagerness. The emperor was the most excited, who should be laughing his heart out right about now. Ha ha ha. The emperor was having the time of his life reading the latest report. I didn't help him all these years for nothing after all. He finally showed himself, and not with half measures, but while striking Hell Valley off the map. He didn't even spare their ancestors' graves. Ha ha ha. Your Majesty, desecration may be a bit excessive here. Even I have to disagree with this. Dugu Zhantian at his right nodded in anger. I get the feeling that the kid is a real man sometimes, while also a degenerate rest of the time. It's all fine. All I wanted was for him to make his move. He can do anything else for all I care. The more revolting his actions the better. It will help me a lot when going against the houses. They'll have no way to use the excuse of rewarding my loyal officials with the axe. He, how can you cherish someone who does crimes against humanity? The emperor revealed a twisted smile. Dugu Zhantian nodded. The setting the emperor had laid out was cunning and vile, unlike his candid nature as a god of war. But for the safety of the people, on eliminating these variables, he would fall in line and obey the orders. Your Majesty, when will I act? No rush, let them squirm around a little longer. The emperor sighed, however, I do need to show the people my stance. The emperor yelled at the servants at the door, draft my orders. The 8th Nobel House, Windgaze City's Luo clan, is accused of manslaughter and desecration, of most heinous crimes. By my order, the clans are to root out this evil and bring me their head. The reward shall be the title of noble house. Understood. The servant left. Dugu Zhantian's face twitched and he sighed inside. Your Majesty, that right there is pure rubbish. If it were that easy to get Zhuo Fan's head, he'd have taken it ages ago. Though the edict still had its perks, giving Dugu's army the righteous reason to purge him. While the Luo clan and regent estate would be duking it out, Dugu army would swoop in to obliterate the former, only to destroy them all. The emperor was aiming for this, but thinking of his godson, Dugu Zhantian's heart couldn't bear it. Meanwhile, Yu Ming was at the second prince's new house, waiting on Valley Lord's orders. Second prince stormed into the room. Something huge has just happened, Sir Yu Ming. Second prince, easy. There's a solution to everything if you keep your calm. Yu Ming waved. Second prince paused to cool his jets, and bowed. Sir Yu Ming, you are truly cut from a different cloth. You have my complete admiration. I have always been on edge and can't calm down. But I still need Sir's help in the future. Second prince is too kind. Yu Ming nodded and asked, now, Your Highness, just what happened to get you so flustered? Nothing much, just that Zhuo Fan raised Hell Valley. What? Yu Ming was outraged. What did you say? Where's the report? Here. Second prince took out the paper from his sleeve. Sir Yu Ming is so open-minded, tranquil in the face of anything. Even as your own home lays in ruins, you don't bat an eyelid. I am truly amazed. God damn it, why so long-winded? Reading the paper turned Yu Ming's face pale. The paper fell to the floor as he stood there frozen. Slaughtered and desecrated? Zhuo Fan, are you that cruel? Yu Ming's eyes trembled, his body rigid, and only his mouth moved. Zhuo Fan, you rotten lowlife. He forced me. Sir Yu Ming, is everything all right? Second prince asked. Sighing, Yu Ming resumed calmly and said, Your Highness, I have some matters to attend to. I will be gone for a few months. Please don't act rashly in my absence. Goodbye. Yu Ming left right away with hurried steps, his eyes flashing. He had to plan his escape carefully. Only the second prince was left behind hanging and speechless. At the same time, in a valley 100 miles away from Drifting Flowers City, many experts were gathered, even the heads of many powerful clans. Bam! Yu Wanshan slammed the jade slip into the ground. This is outrageous, Zhuo Fan. I will have you ripped to pieces. What happened, Valley Lord Yu? Huangpu Tianyuan asked. Yu Wanshan panted and cupped his hands, for the first time ever, tears trailing down his face. Estate Lord Huangpu, you are the head of houses. You must give Hell Valley justice. I just got word from the third venerable that Zhuo Fan along with Li Jingtian has raided Hell Valley. The other three venerables fought back, but I fear they have fallen as well. Please, Estate Lord Huangpu, send your men to assist. What? Huangpu Tianyuan was stunned. We haven't even begun our attack on Drifting Flowers edifices and yet he struck Hell Valley. Yu Wanshan gave a mournful nod. The Hell Valley's elders were enraged, turning to Huangpu Tianyuan with expectant looks. They all looked on with hope that their boss would give his support. Huangpu Tianyuan only stroked his beard. Sir Leng, what do you think? Hell Valley is our ally. Valley Lord Yu is our close friend. Of course we'd go out on a limb to help him. Leng Wuchang shouted. Hell Valley's contingent perked up, looking at him with gratitude. Huangpu Tianyuan looked at him dazed though. Since when did the shrewd Sir Leng turn righteous? But Leng Wuchang showed his true color soon enough. Be that as it may. Leng Wuchang sighed, Zhuo Fan's treachery knows no bounds. Going without a plan will like playing into his hand. We have to avoid that. Valley Lord Yu, rest assured, we will avenge your home. But we are now on the eve of striking Drifting Flowers City. We must first handle Drifting Flowers edifices. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded. Drifting Flowers edifices is in cahoots with Zhuo Fan. Taking them out will soothe Valley Lord Yu's anger. Everyone nodded. Pill King Hall and Mary Woods enjoyed the show, sneering all the time at Hell Valley. Yuan Shan was fuming, his face red. He flipped around and shouted, "Sir Fang, you are His Majesty's reinforcements to quell Zhuo Fan. That wretched servant is running amok in Hell Valley and you are just going to do nothing? Zhuo Fan's mind is a maze and his actions a mystery. Sir Leng is right. We need to take it one step at a time. First comes Drifting Flowers edifices, sweeping clean all places he might turn to when he is desperate. Then we will go after him when he has no place to hide. Valley Lord you don't need to worry." Fang Qiubai spoke. He had long since received the Emperor's order to have Zhuo Fan and Regent Estate mind their own business for a while longer. Of course he'd drag this out as well instead of pitting the two ahead of schedule. As for the fate of cannon fodder dubbed Hell Valley, neither cared a whit. Fodder was fodder. They'd all die sooner or later. The hegemony for the world would ultimately come down between Zhuo Fan and Regent Estate. The rest couldn't affect it one damn bit. Yuan Shan saw the open taunts and his anger reached boiling point, yet he was unable to do a thing. Chapter 426, Drifting Flowers Edifices Siege. Chapter 426, Drifting Flowers Edifices Siege. In Drifting Flowers Edifices main hall, grandmother took the seat of honor with a frown. On each side of her were the 15 overseers. Bang! Grandmother threw a sending jade on the table and sighed, "This is the Luo clan's 10th message. And like the ones before it, they all warn of a great disaster, that we need to retreat to Luo clan. What do you all say?" "Humph, that vile ingrate, our edifice lord sacrificed so much for him and this is how he repays us? By stealing our most sacred treasure. Who'd believe his messages? I bet it's just another one of his sick twisted schemes." Peony Overseer was the first to show a negative attitude, her anger having reached a boiling point. Iris Overseer nodded after a pause, yet the frown never left her. "Nevertheless, even with Zhuo Fan's insidious mind putting us on guard on every one of his actions, it's better to believe the worst than be skeptical and suffer because of it later. Taking up arms won't harm us in the least. I have already activated our defenses, for any eventuality." Grandmother nodded. "As for the credibility of these jades, it remains to be seen." Boom! A rumbling sound came from outside, rattling their ears. All overseers looked on in shock. Grandmother shook and turned downcast. Xiao Dandan burst in as fast as her legs could carry her. "Oh God, enemy attack. Dandan, speak clearly." Peony Overseer said. Xiao Dandan gasped a few times. "Drifting Flowers City's guarding array is under attack. Senior sisters are now inside to defend it. What do we do, grandmother, master? We're really under attack." The overseers were incredulous, turning to the jade slip with regret. Zhuo Fan meant nothing more than to simply inform them by sending those messages. "Grandmother," the 15 pairs of eyes turned to her. She was feeling as much regret as the next woman there. But she couldn't let it show. As the leader, everyone believed her words were always right, even when wrong. Any doubt would cripple their morale and the battle would be half lost from the start. Grandmother flashed her eyes with steel determination, conveying confidence in this great crisis, confidence she didn't have. "Iris, ask the 3 venerables to come. Peony, send jade slips to our allies for help. The rest of you, follow me to meet the enemy. Let's see which bastards dare challenge Drifting Flowers edifices." Grandmother hammered her staff as she made her way forward with dignity and strength. The others regained their calm and flew out of Drifting Flowers City. Iris and Peony set about their tasks. Only Xiao Dandan was left there pouting. "Didn't he tell us again and again that this'll happen? Now even if you do believe him, we are cut off and can't run." "Dandan, what are you mumbling? Who taught you to talk of your betters behind their back?" Peony Overseer glared. Xiao Dandan retorted, "What talking back? It's the truth. We got a clear warning for 3 months that this was going to come. You know nothing. Peony Overseer barked, don't you know who Zhuo Fan is? He even stole Bodhi root from us. How can we trust him? How can we be sure it's not another trick? But it was Yan Fu who told me. He'd never lie to me. Xiao Dandan was stubborn. Peony Overseer shook her head, you brat, Yan Fu was never good to begin with. Now that he's with Zhuo Fan, he's even worse. No matter how sincere, he needs to first prove that Zhuo Fan had nothing to do with it, that it wasn't false. You think I don't know where you've been running to these months? Besides bringing the 10 sending jades, you still have 28 more love letters from that kid. How can a pure girl like you be like this? Have you no shame? Xiao Dandan blushed and huffed, that's beside the point. They have been giving us real information all along, yet you always second-guess his intentions, thinking there's a plot where there's nothing. You silly girl, you've been growing bolder, I see, to talk back to your master. My lessons haven't been thorough enough, it seems. Peony Overseer was at a loss and blushed with shame and anger. Xiao Dandan ran away with Peony Overseer on her heels. Their mission, forgotten. Grandmother took her overseers outside and gasped at the sea of black. Leading the army were Hell Valley, Merry Woods and Pill King Hall's lords. Against such a lineup, even with the home field advantage, Drifting Flowers Edifice's array would be under immense strain. Gulping, grandmother grew anxious. The overseers were scared out of their minds, shaking all over. Yuanshan's side laughed. Grandmother, we 3 vow to take Drifting Flowers Edifices. Surrender now, cease these needless hostilities and there won't be casualties. Yuanshan held his head high. Grandmother squinted, Valley Lord Yu, what's the meaning of this? Have you forgotten Tianyu's laws? The 7 houses are banned from engaging in civil war. Marching towards Drifting Flowers Edifices with such fanfare, His Majesty will hear of this and will exact punishment. Grandmother's speech was full of dignity and logic. But Yuanshan laughed harder, his mocking gaze thicker. He, old hag, why else would we be here in the first place? It's all by His Majesty's leave. Yuanshan shouted, there's no one out there coming to help a bunch of broads, ha ha ha. What? Grandmother was incredulous. Keeping the 7 houses in check had been the imperial family's policy since the dawn of the empire. How can they change tactics, letting the land devolve into anarchy? Impossible. Grandmother refuted, what crime could we possibly have committed for His Majesty to treat us so, to let you attack us? Ha ha, old crone, don't play dumb. Who doesn't know of your ties with that wretched spawn Zhuo Fan? With the mess he made in the imperial palace, he is the nation's #1 criminal. And with your connections, you aren't far behind either. At Yuanshan's cackle, grandmother shuddered and sighed. Zhuo Fan raised us and now he crushes us. While Zhuo Fan was on his power trip, Drifting Flowers Edifices had never been safer. But now that Zhuo Fan had become the national enemy, the others used this excuse to get to Drifting Flowers Edifices. Their 1,000-year-old legacy would lay in ruins. Was it truly the right choice to have an alliance with Zhuo Fan? Much good did that thinking do at this point. All they could do was buy time for their allies to come help. Grandmother flew up and shouted, if you want to destroy Drifting Flowers Edifices, then come. I will face any contenders. Ha ha ha, I've heard so much of the Lady of Steel and have long wished to try you out. Yuanshan flew forth, covered in gray energy, letting out eerie cries of infants. Hatred and grief filled the sky, sweeping grandmother in its clutches. With the shrieks of agony, malignant specters made of anguish, bit at her. Hell Valley's profound ranked martial art, demonic face seal. The hearts of the overseers were in their throats. Demonic face seal was a soul attack, creepy and powerful. Grandmother had no power against it. Yuanshan laughed, finding victory in his grasp. It was then that a glaring white light flashed. The howling sea of agonized faces came to a halt as ice spread all over them. They cracked to pieces, pulverizing the demonic faces, leaving room for grandmother to walk out and send Yuanshan flying with a palm to the chest. And leaving behind a scarlet trail. Chapter 427, Crisis. Chapter 427, Crisis. Yuanshan spat out frozen blood as he wobbled to his feet, drifting flowers edifices profound ranked martial art, heavenly austere ice palm, trained to such perfection it can even freeze my demonic face seal. Congratulations, Lady of Steel. Valley Lord Yu's demonic face seal is too exquisite even for me to take lightly. It's all thanks to decades upon decades of hard work that I had the honor to match Valley Lord Yu's skills. With how grandmother wheezed, looking thin and pale, she wasn't faring much better either. Yuanshan cupped his hands and withdrew. Yen Bagong laughed, stepping in next. Ha ha ha, grandmother has aged with grace, coming above even the likes of Valley Lord Yu. How about you humor this old man next? Yen Bagong, you lowlife, you just want to take advantage of grandmother having fought a hard battle and being exhausted. You're just picking on the weak. One overseer cursed. Yen Bagong took it all in stride and showed a light smile. That's a little off, my lady. We three houses joined hands just so we don't have to go one-on-one. How does picking on the weak fit here? We just want to duel with grandmother right now for a bit instead of starting the assault. We're doing you all a favor. Yen Bagong justified himself, leaving the overseers speechless. Grandmother let out a cold laughter, her eyes icy. Yen Bagong implied he was giving drifting flowers edifices leeway, but one thing remained unchanged. In an all-out war, drifting flowers edifices had the disadvantage, but it wasn't going to fall that easily, not when having a defensive array. While grandmother was the pillar of drifting flowers edifices. With her being dead, the battle would already be over. Even with the array, when there was no one to direct it, defeat was certain. Yen Bagong and company wanted to cut the head and the body would follow. These duels were in fact in their complete favor. The astute grandmother picked up on their little trick right away. But she accepted anyway. The three lords' defeat would have the same drastic effect on the enemy as her death. It went without saying that it would work wonders in cutting drifting flowers edifices' casualties short and would stall for their allies' support. It really was the best choice in drifting flowers edifices' current situation. No matter how weak grandmother felt, she had to push on. Just that revulsion at Yen Bagong preaching righteousness always came to her. Both sides are fighting a battle of minds, for their own interest, yet you want to look cool doing it. Yen Bagong, come. Grandmother had an icy air and a smirk. Yen Bagong smiled there, calm and carefree. But the next second he turned savage, launching rainbow cloud palm with both hands, Pil King Hall's signature move. Grandmother knew it was coming and had a shield of ice around her as she went on the offensive. The poison was acidic, but it wouldn't eat through the clear ice that fast. It took no longer than a flash for grandmother to pass through the heavy poison cloud and reach Yen Bagong with a palm strike. Watching the icy palm inching towards his chest, Yen Bagong's heart tensed. His fate would soon be the same as Yuanshan before him. He might be on edge at the incoming ice, but not panicked. He even had time to show off a creepy smile. Grandmother had a bad feeling about this. Whoosh! From the thick fog, one man shot in front of Yen Bagong and punched. It was Mary Woods's Lin Ruffin. You? Grandmother cried. Lin Ruffin grinned, one and only. The punch and palm collided. Lin Rufen's savage power pierced the ice on her palm and wreaked havoc in her body. With a sharp sound, the icy shield collapsed and 10 fierce blows hammered her body, sending her flying. She shot through the poison cloud and into the ground. The blood she spat tinted the ground in eerie colors. This was the worst outcome. Grandmother was heavily wounded and poisoned by the rainbow cloud palm. Puffing out more blood, Grandmother glared at the two above with endless hatred. Mary Wood's profound ranked martial art, empty cloud art. Our empty cloud art is based on speed, splitting an attack into several blows to tear up your insides. The more advanced the cultivation, the more splits. You may have ice protecting you, but not even that can block all of them. I have managed to unleash 20 splits, ha ha ha. Lynn Ruffin laughed in pride. The overseers rushed at grandmother's side, giving a hateful glare at the two lords above. You no good two-bit filthy scumbags. Is that how a house lord acts nowadays, stabbing people in the back? Oh, no, no, no. Didn't I say that already? This is a coalition of 3 houses, anything goes. Besides, us two work great together and we haven't even surrounded you with our forces yet. What's wrong with that? Yen Bagong snickered. The women's eyes spat fire from all the rage boiling in their hearts. Grandmother panted, finding it hard to even speak. Take me back, now. Yen Bagong snickered, you won't get away that easy. Attack. Their head is down. It's the perfect moment to take them all down. Understood. The sea of people came in like a tide. The overseers rushed to get grandmother back to safety. But Yen Bagong's team of 2 was faster, making a sinister strike at the retreating grandmother. Take her out of the picture and the drifting flowers edifices would follow. The other women rushed to defend her. The overseers stood no chance in front of 2 house lords. They were dead in one blow, unable to stall 1 second. 2 more turned back to attack, but grandmother stopped them. Grandmother! They all cried. Grandmother sighed, I won't be able to survive this, but you are the future of drifting flowers edifices. Go, withdraw. Let Iris become the edifice lord. I will hold them off. Grandmother, no. They all teared up in sadness. Grandmother barked, you bunch of ignorant girls, how can you not see what's in front? I have to hold them back or we'll all die. Go back and wait. We will get our chance when support comes. Grandmother trailed off. Not even she was certain that drifting flowers edifices could come out alive, but held on to hope still. The women saw the steel gaze of grandmother and despite their distress, they nodded and withdrew to drifting flowers city. Grandmother showed a clear smile, watching them go, silly girls, take care. Ha ha ha, Chu Bijuan, you should care about yourself first. The 2 closed in, Yen Bagong's creepy voice reaching her ears. Grandmother had a cold smile, her mind set, humph, Yen Bagong, Lin Ruffing, as long as there's one breath left in this body, you will never tread 1 step in drifting flowers edifices. Grandmother flew high at the 2. The 2 met her fearlessly. She had the Lady of Steel moniker, but with how downtrodden she was from that last blow, they wouldn't qualify as house lords if they backed off now. With a bang, the 2 sides clashed. The shock wave turned everything around them to dust. The 2 kept on attacking, even as grandmother was spurting blood and lost consciousness. Her frail and damaged body slammed into the ground. Grandmother! The women shed tears of pain, at their helplessness and their weakness. Yen Bagong walked over and struck again, ha ha ha, the great Lady of Steel's head is mine for the taking. Something shot straight for Yen Bagong. He squinted and looked shocked. Killing with intent. A radiant stage expert. Chapter 428, 3 Venerables. Chapter 428, 3 Venerables. Bam! Yen Bagong panicked at the incoming soul attack and put up his defenses, despite being a mere profound heaven cultivator with no chance against a radiant stage expert. The intent left the 2 groaning. Yen Bagong even flew away, leaving a trail of blood in the air. Lin Ruffing stopped dead in his tracks, trembling and rooted. Rustle. 3 graceful figures floated between grandmother and the lords, drifting flowers edifices venerables. Looking back at the unconscious grandmother, one shouted, what are you waiting for? Get her out of here. Understood. The overseer's morale soared, flying away with grandmother. They were at ease knowing the venerables had their back. The tide of people came to a halt as well. Humph, you lowlifes dare set your eyes on drifting flowers edifices. The venerables faced the thousands with angry rebuke. Yen Bagong barely stood his ground, pale and weary, yet not a trace of fear. He, big words for just a bunch of broads. If not for the imperial family's help in the past millennium, you'd never see today. Don't think for a second that being in the radiant stage will change anything. Which of us houses doesn't have its own venerables? Now more than ever, when we have the great regent estate taking the lead. Ha, we are the ones behind this siege. Laughter shook the area. To everyone's shock, an astonishing power surged as a grizzled old man showed his face. His eyes flashing like lightning, his face excited. Each of his breath felt like the world was sucked away then unleashed back as a storm. The three venerables squinted and shouted in shock, Huangpu Fenglei. My purpose here is to deal with you three. His head held impossibly high, Huangpu Fenglei flicked his hand with disdain. I am not one to pick on women, so I'll take you all on. Twitching, the three turned grave. Despite living in seclusion, they had all heard of Huangpu Fenglei's name. He was a rare peak radiant stage expert in this world. The ones capable of fighting him in Tianyu could be counted on one hand. Sure, there were three of them, but the strongest was only in the fifth layer. It'd hardly make a difference. But as Drifting Flowers Edifice's venerables, having enjoyed its resources for decades, they weren't about to flee in the face of danger. They were women, but they were principled, even more so than some men. With a deep breath to steady their nerves, one showed her will to fight or die trying. Sisters, today's the day we will fight for justice. Ha, it won't matter. We've lived together and we'll die together. A fitting end for our 100-year friendship. The two laughed. The first smiled. Having reached an understanding, all flew at the mighty Huangpu Fenglei with not 1 ounce of fear. Huangpu Fenglei praised, I've heard of Drifting Flowers Edifice's women being staunch and now I see it for myself. You are far better than some male wolves drunk on power. Huangpu Fenglei continued, I will give you 3 free shots at me before I attack, seeing as I'm so kind. Begin. Humph, thank you for your consideration, sir. We're happy to accept. Huangpu Fenglei was tough and the three were not fools. If the guy gave them 3 free moves, they weren't about to refuse. They had a non-zero chance, impossible odds true, but there was always the luck of the moment. The least they could manage was injure him, stopping him from breaking the array. It would give some value to their deaths, knowing to have returned the kindness Drifting Flowers Edifices offered them for so long. With one less warrior on the enemy's side, Drifting Flowers Edifices' chances would rise. The three turned solemn, each taking a direction and making a sign. The wind picked up and the yuan qi surged. A white mist formed between the three, linking them and feeding off each other's strengths, to their very peak of power. An ice phoenix took form between them, 300 meters large and shrieking. Huangpu Fenglei's brow shuddered, combination martial art. I never knew you'd be so in tune with each other, of the same heart and mind. Humph, who needs your praise? You should take this instead. The leader of the three scoffed and pushed out her palms. The other two matched her perfectly. Shriek. The ice phoenix unleashed its full killing intent on Huangpu Fenglei as it charged. All in its wake turned to ice, even air itself. Yen Bagong cried out in shock. Radiant stage experts weren't without their fame. While a combined attack from three went farther. Such an attack would wipe them out, peak profound heaven experts, along with half the people there. Forget about fighting Drifting Flowers Edifices at this point. It was a miracle if the army stuck together. Yen Bagong and Lin Rufeng exchanged a glance and cold sweat ran down their spines. Thank the Maker they had Regent Estate on their side, with High Venerable's personal interference. The casualties would have been horrible without him. These broads sure are tough. Unlike everyone's panicked look, Huangpu Fenglei praised and looked on with a calm expression. When the ice phoenix got near him, he waved, "Humph, this skill sure is dangerous, but not to me." Huangpu Fenglei clutched the ice phoenix's neck and squeezed. With a bang, the phoenix crumbled into glittering ice. Huangpu Fenglei grinned, first. The ice fragments released an unbearable coldness, unleashing a frosty wave straight towards Huangpu Fenglei. It swallowed him in its midst, leaving behind nothing, not even Huangpu Fenglei's body, just a sparkling human-sized ice sculpture. "High Venerable!" everyone cried. With Huangpu Fenglei getting done in from the three hags' attack, how would the rest fare? Amidst their anxiety and fear, cracking sounds revealed the breaking of the sculpture. With a bang to finish, Huangpu Fenglei was revealed in all his glory with a manic laughter. Who knew such an attack hid an even stronger one? "Ha ha ha, how amazing! Not that it did any good to the likes of me." "High Venerable is invincible," the crowd cheered. Whooshes sounded as the three venerables flashed right in Huangpu Fenglei's face. "Huangpu Fenglei, we knew this attack won't work, so we prepared a little something," the leader shouted. The other two also yelled and their fingers formed a sword. Profound ranked martial art, Dark Heaven Finger. Huangpu Fenglei gave his all to resist this time around. But the ice and coldness from before had him slowed down, giving the three venerables enough time for their sword fingers to hit his pressure points. With the sound of freezing water, Huangpu Fenglei felt icy coldness invade his body and freeze his veins. He was shocked that Yuan Qi could hardly stop it. This can't be. With his power, not even these three together could freeze him, yet now. Huangpu Fenglei turned grave, and doubt sprouted. His fists clenched and body shuddered. Chapter 429, Death Before Dishonor. Chapter 429, Death Before Dishonor. The leader had a cold smile. "Huangpu Fenglei, did you think that combination art was all to deceive you? Wrong, so very wrong, ha ha ha." The ice on Huangpu Fenglei grew harder and thicker, his body soon became rigid and only his eyes were moving. He ended up getting caged inside the ice like a lion, poised to jump out at a moment's notice and rip its quarry to pieces. "Don't look at me like that. There's no chance of coming out of this. The ice phoenix's cold energy is keeping you frozen, not to mention the icy energy in your body keeping your Yuan Qi sealed. This way, our Dark Heaven Finger works in tandem with the first attack and freezes you solid." The leader's eyes sparkled with the joy of victory. "Ha ha ha, you may be a peak expert, but with your Yuan Qi on ice, even if you get out of our move your power will be cut in half. Huangpu Fenglei, you brought this on yourself." Despite being frozen stiff, Huangpu Fenglei didn't panic, speaking in a sinister tone, "Hags, don't write me off so early. Your parlor tricks are no match for me." Huangpu Fenglei let out dragonic roars and exploded in a golden shower. Roar! 9 golden dragons shot from inside him. The powerful Yuan Qi waves shook the ice off and sent the three women flying as well. The three left a trail of blood as they hit the ground. Looking up, they watched Huangpu Fenglei come down like a god, wrapped in 9 dragons and with an overbearing aura. That relentless power surging around him was testament to his state of health, undamaged, untouched. It came at an even greater shock to the women, followed by despair. If even their combined attacks couldn't do anything, this man was a freak, godlike. They lowered their heads, bitter, having lost all hope. Huangpu Fenglei eased up on the glaring light show and overlooked them like the emperor as he raised a second finger. "Imperial tyrant body art is the strongest cultivation method among the houses. No one can stop me." That was the second move. "Sisters, we have one more chance. Have you thought about it?" The leader showed resolve, ready to die. The other two smiled. "What's there to think? Of our peak skills, we can only use that. Let's do it." The leader nodded, getting their feet under them and watching Huangpu Fenglei above without any fear. Huangpu Fenglei, you better keep your word. Since you said, you'll give us 3 free moves, then 3 is what we have. Of course. My word is my bond. But what could you possibly come up with that can work? Humph, Huangpu Fenglei snorted. The leader was calm, nothing, only our blood for our house. The 3 jumped high at Huangpu Fenglei with power and speed. Huangpu Fenglei frowned, unclear of their aim. What other combination art are they using? Why can't I sense anything? The venerables took 3 directions around him and shot their palms forward. With 3 sounds, the palms impacted Huangpu Fenglei's perfect body, without so much as a scratch. Huangpu Fenglei just took it like a champ, with arms crossed. He looked at them curious. Is this your final move, a palm? There was not even a skill behind it. There's no way you can harm me with that. You've lost your last chance. Ha ha ha, thank you Sir Huangpu for giving us these free moves, but this palm is only half of it. With an odd smile, the leader made a sign. The other 2 followed. Huangpu Fenglei was puzzled. Do they want to use some super secret art? But why did that sign feel so familiar? He shot his eyes wide open and cried, self-destruction. You. This is our last move, death before dishonor. The women grinned. Huangpu Fenglei was scared silly. With the 3 radiant stage experts so close and primed to blow, not even Imperial Tyrant body art could bear it. He used all his Yuan Qi to unleash a golden glow and make the trio fly. Too little, too late. With one last smile, to Huangpu Fenglei's frantic look, 3 earth-shattering explosions wrecked the place. Boom! The huge balls of flame swallowed the sky, shaking up everything. Even with the array in place, Drifting Flowers City was now in ruins. Yen Bagong ducked just as the tide of flames passed him. One careless twitch could burn his head clean off. Once the cool wind set in again, the people looked shell-shocked. The mountains around them were now flatlands while the trees floated around as ashes. The bone-tempering disciples had their meridians crushed and died. Maybe they wanted a closer look at death, or just sheer bad luck. They stuck their neck out to see the glorious apocalyptic flame, only to have half their body burnt, testament to their folly. Yen Bugong's heart was shaking all over. What a frightening explosion. And that came out of 3 radiant stage experts' self-destruction. Then what about the person at their core, their High Venerable? He looked around in panic and shouted, High Venerable, are you all right? Bam! A black figure slammed the ground. Yen Bagong rushed over to see Huangpu Fenglei's face burnt black, laying there broken and robbed of any air of superiority. Blood spurted out and Huangpu Fenglei wheezed. Looking around at the faces, he rejoiced at his new lease on life. High Venerable, you're amazing to come out alive from that. You're the only one in Tianyu to pull it off. Yen Bagong gave a thumbs up and a good ass-licking. Huangpu Fenglei had no time for his gibberish, frowning. Why did they do it? You mean those Drifting Flowers edifices venerables? Yen Bagong smiled. Who cares? They couldn't beat you so they decided to drag you down as well. But they never thought, even this couldn't kill you. You're still in one piece. He, they died for nothing, the idiots. No. Huangpu Fenglei shook his head weakly. A cultivator that has reached the radiant stage would cherish his life above everything. They would never throw their lives away unless it is the very last resort. They could have used the Drifting Flowers edifice's array to stall me and escape. So why? Yen Bagong paused, pig-headed, perhaps? Ha ha ha, that's putting it mildly. Huangpu Fenglei barely propped his body. Drifting Flowers edifices, a women's domain, hasn't survived all these years on empty words alone. Huangpu Fenglei limped away. Yen Bagong asked, High Venerable, aren't we attacking? Of course we are, fool. But that's your problem. I need to dress my wounds. can't you see I can't even fly and have a busted leg? Glaring back, Huangpu Fenglei cursed. But he didn't leave without a final piece of advice: don't get careless, drifting flowers edifices women's can't be underestimated. Yan Bagong nodded, exchanged a glance with Lin Rufeng. Looking at your wretched state, we can glean that much. Though. They looked back at Drifting Flowers City and felt a headache coming. Without a radiant stage to support them, how many years would it take to break through? The Regent Estate's experts only acted as support, leaving the heavy lifting to them. The only helper, Huangpu Fenglei, was now away on medical leave. Chapter 430, Baiting the Aid. Chapter 430, Baiting the Aid. Boom! The explosion shook all of Drifting Flowers City, houses crumbled and turned to dust. Drifting Flowers Edifice's main hall had calm and wise women handling everyday affairs, but they were now crying in panic. Grandmother, pale and weak, lay on the floor, rocking to the explosion's rhythm. The odd bump into the ground of her head had her frowning and opening her eyes. Aunt Tao, grandmother's awake. Peony Overseer perked up. Drifting Flowers Edifice's head alchemist, Tao Danyang, rushed over. Grandmother's injury is stable, but... What? Peony Overseer asked. Tao Danyang sighed, removing the rainbow cloud palm's poison is beyond these wrinkled hands' ability. They alone hold the antidote. What do we do now? Peony Overseer asked. Pill King Hall is right outside our gates. Are we supposed to go out there and grab one to force an antidote out of them? Everyone shook their heads from how powerless they were. Pill King Hall was already strong by themselves, but now in the three-house coalition it would be even tougher for Drifting Flowers Edifices to deal with them. Going out now was plain suicide. Iris Overseer smiled. Peony, don't be nervous, Pill King Hall had a monopoly on the Rainbow Cloud Palm's antidote until now. Did you forget how Zhuo Fan deciphered the antidote at the 100-pill meeting, curing grandmother, Aunt Tao, and many of our sisters? Even their top alchemist, Vicious Pill King, is now under the Luo clan. And with him as an ally, there's no need to fear any poison. Yeah, we just have to get in touch with them and grandmother will be fine. Aunt Tao nodded, relieved. She felt like having Zhuo Fan as an ally was the best thing that ever happened to them. The rainbow cloud palm squeezing on them every minute of every hour was now a thing of the past. Peony Overseer pouted, her face unnatural, but that prick stole our precious heirloom. How can we trust him? It will be great if he returns it. But if he doesn't? Grandmother's faint voice trailed off weakly. Then she came to a decision and spoke firmly, all we can do is move on. If Drifting Flowers Edifices is to survive, we need to compromise. We need allies like him the most right now. What is the point of getting the treasure back only to find a city filled with corpses? All became pensive. Their respect for grandmother was growing. Grandmother had earned the respect of all houses for a reason. And for the same reason she kept Drifting Flowers Edifices afloat all this time. As a house lord, she had to have the mind and eyes that went beyond the scope of the common man, with vaulting ambition and steel resolve. Always thinking long-term and never nitpicking on the details. And in their final hour, Drifting Flowers Edifices needed allies the most. They couldn't throw away Zhuo Fan over some Bodhi root. It was the same as cutting off one's legs. So you want to lean on Luo clan? Peony Overseer pouted, still against it. Zhuo Fan stole their stuff yet they still turned to him for help. Wasn't that like asking a thief for asylum? Drifting Flowers Edifice's name would be dragged through the mud, her sisters as well. Grandmother smiled in reply, yes, Zhuo Fan had made us a promise back when he was in trouble. We can rely on him. Now that he is one of the big players, he is our support. It's all just a repaid investment, ha ha ha. Peony, you usually go off the deep end and are frank. You are kind at heart, but not suited to be the edifice lord. As the one bearing the responsibility of Drifting Flowers Edifices, one has to be flexible and set your gaze beyond the present moment. A useless thing like reputation will only drag us down. Grandmother shook her head. Peony Overseer blushed, knowing her own defects as well. What was that large noise just now anyway? Grandmother turned to the rest. They all shook their heads. Someone burst in tears, Grandmother, Overseers, the three venerables. What about the venerables? Grandmother asked frantically. Sniffing, the girl wailed, the venerables self-destructed to deal with Huangpu Fenglei. What? Grandmother shuddered, then spat blood, tears streaking her face. Grandmother. The others panicked. Grandmother waved them off. It was my mistake to lead them to their doom. If only I heeded the Luo clan's warnings and retreated, they would have been alive and wouldn't have died in vain. Grandmother, the only one to blame is Zhuo Fan. He betrayed our trust first. We could never overlook this transgression. Peony Overseer advised. Grandmother shook her hand, talking after a pause, the three venerables' death is on me. But we can't bicker over Drifting Flowers Edifice's calamity. What about Huangpu Fenglei, what's going on outside? Grandmother, Huangpu Fenglei is badly hurt and has withdrawn from battle. Yan Bagong and the others are attacking our barriers while sisters are pushing them back. They can hold on for the time being. Regent Estate's High Venerable. What about the Regent Estate itself? Grandmother asked. The girl shook her head. Grandmother, there's no sign of them. That means Regent Estate isn't involved. Grandmother squinted. Overseers, join the defenses and never attack, only resist. Guard Drifting Flowers edifices and wait for our allies. Understood. Everyone bowed. Meanwhile, Yan Bagong, Lin Rufeng and Yuan Shan attacked the city for 3 months. Although Three Houses United was a force to reckon with, Drifting Flowers edifice's defenses were like a steel wall. Even after all this time, they had only punched through 26 barriers, with dozens more to go. How many years would that take? For God's sake. I should have just brought all my venerables. Lin Rufeng panted, peering over the city and at the mountain in the distance. What the hell is Regent Estate and those rotten divine dragons doing? They decided on this attack, yet now they are taking the back seat while we risk our necks. What's so scary about Drifting Flowers edifices anyway? If we'd all pitch in, it'd be over and done with by now. Calm down. Yuan Shan advised. Sir Leng said we're baiting the aid. While we have Drifting Flowers edifices on the ropes, they'll attack the reinforcements. I heard Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis Abode's forces have been beaten back many times already. Humph, Regent Estate can handle those guys with a modicum of effort. What's the point of having all of them in the back as support? Lin Rufeng mocked. Yan Bagong shook his head. House Lord Lin, don't say that. They aren't much hassle, true, but what if Zhuo Fan comes? Rumble. Lin Rufeng's face fell and his voice was cut off. On the day of Luo clan's ceremony, they all witnessed its power and glory. Besides the abomination dubbed Zhuo Fan, they had 10 elders, each stronger than the next, violent and savage. Not even Regent Estate wanted to pick a fight with them. Lin Rufeng waved his hand. Let's just keep attacking. Yuan Shan and Yan Bagong chuckled inside. Yuan Shan slapped his chest in full confidence. Worry not, the city will soon fall. My 3 venerables are coming in 2 days. With Radiant stage experts clearing a path for us, their guarding array will be no obstacle. Yuan Shan beamed with pride. Want to break Drifting Flowers City? Only we can do it. Yan Bagong snickered. With Valley Lord Yu's home a wreckage, you don't need Radiant stage experts to defend it. While our men are just too homesick to leave, ha ha ha, Lin Rufeng mocked. Yuan Shan's face fell. It cut him deep, each time he was reminded of the ruined Hell Valley. What he wanted was to get merit in this battle and earn Regent Estate's compensation. But Lin Rufeng and Yan Bagong, the bastards, had to poke where it hurt. Humph, you'll see. Zhuo Fan will take good care of your shacks just as well. We'll see who's laughing then. Yuanshan's mind was filled with malicious curses. Chapter 431, Most Dangerous Ally. Chapter 431, Most Dangerous Ally. Sir Leng, any updates? In a quiet little room, Leng Wuchang was sitting at a desk deep in thought when Huangpu Tianyuan came in laughing, with drifting flowers edifices under siege for 3 months now, small fries keep on coming. It's so boring. When will a big fish bite anyway? Sir Leng, what do you reckon that big fish is planning right now? After a bow, Leng Wuchang sighed, Estate Lord, our plan and reality do not match, I'm afraid. Where exactly? Huangpu Tianyuan asked. Leng Wuchang spoke, our main plan to bait the aid involved faking an attack on Drifting Flowers edifices to draw Zhuo Fan out. With Estate Lord's 9 Dragons diamond body, we'd catch Zhuo Fan by surprise and finish him off in one swift blow. However. What? Huangpu Tianyuan asked impatiently. Leng Wuchang shook his head, the way it has played out is that we've fallen for it. What? How? Huangpu Tianyuan jerked. Leng Wuchang said, by being a borrowed knife. Unsettled, Huangpu Tianyuan eyed him. Leng Wuchang explained, it may be that we predicted Zhuo Fan's aim all wrong. His vision is far wider. We thought he would protect his allies to secure his power. But with Drifting Flowers edifices under siege for months yet there being no sign of Luo clan, it goes to show that he has abandoned them. If anything, he was counting on us to destroy Drifting Flowers edifices for him. What? Huangpu Tianyuan trembled, to what end? What does he get from this? Humph, plenty. Leng Wuchang snickered, a man without roots is the easiest to sway. Even if Drifting Flowers edifices survived and he won in the end, Drifting Flowers edifices, being who it is, will remain only an ally. But when Drifting Flowers edifices falls, he'd accept the women with open arms, getting them on his side and leaving only the world for the taking. Such a cunning plan, what a twisted mind. Even I could only deduce this from the current state. Zhuo Fan is a truly diabolical mastermind. By my calculations, he not only wants us to destroy Drifting Flowers edifices, but all his allies. He will then take them in like a good Samaritan and they, in their moment of gratitude and weakness, will accept the conversion wholeheartedly. Even Leng Wuchang felt cold sweat on his brow at this point. Zhuo Fan's insidious ploys never left room for errors, using cloak and daggers to stab at his own allies through his enemies. Even Leng Wuchang had fallen for such a mastermind's devious schemes. Zhuo Fan is the most dangerous ally so far. Huangpu Tianyuan panicked inside. Veiled Dragon Pavilion was the first to care for the Luo clan and Zhuo Fan once had close ties with Chu Qingcheng. Is he that dead inside to throw everything aside and plot against them? That's what makes Zhuo Fan such an abomination. Leng Wuchang sighed, a man of ambition only looks at things from a perspective and never lets some platonic relationships drag him down. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded, but how did he know we'd attack Drifting Flowers edifices with the 3 houses? Ha ha ha, Estate Lord, do you remember when we planned to divide our forces into 3 and take them all down at the same time? Who was it that proposed we attack one house at a time and bait the aid? Leng Wuchang's eyes glinted. Huangpu Tianyuan shouted, Fang Qiubai. Him indeed. Leng Wuchang nodded, I didn't think much of it at the time, figuring flushing Zhuo Fan out and removing him from the picture at the earliest was better. But now, ha ha ha, it has been the imperial family playing us all along. The emperor's involved too. Yes. Leng Wuchang patted the shocked Huangpu Tianyuan. Huangpu Tianyuan was still finding it odd. Doesn't the emperor want us to eliminate Zhuo Fan? Why is he on his side now? Was that ruckus at the palace all an act for the regent estate's eyes? Not at all. Estate Lord is overthinking things. Back when Zhuo Fan and the emperor had a falling out, the emperor wanted to get rid of Zhuo Fan, but also of us. Leng Wuchang explained with a smile, ha ha ha, here's what I think happened. The Emperor had divine dragons come to us as helpers but used them to find our plan of attack on Drifting Flowers edifices and gave it over to Zhuo Fan. With the prick's cunning nature, he knew that standing on the side and taking a beating will get his allies wiped out. So he attacked Hell Valley. The Emperor caught on to his action and had the divine dragons propose the baiting the aid plan, not to draw Zhuo Fan out but to give him time to ruin Pill King Hall and Merry Woods. The imperial family's master plan isn't to have one of us two destroyed, but to have both of us on our last leg, at our weakest. Leng Wuchang got the gist of it, more or less. Except for one thing. It was Zhuo Fan's intelligence network that got wind of their plans, and it was him cueing the Emperor in, leaving the imperial family to be one step behind. Zhuo Fan had complete control of the situation across the board, something the imperial family never intended to happen. But it wasn't something one could hold against unwanted contriver, since the human pillars were a super-secret art from Zhuo Fan's endless bag of tricks. Even if he smashed his head and combed through the gray matter, he'd still not figure it out. Figuring as much as he did was quite commendable though. Sighing, Huangpu Tianyuan nodded, damn the Emperor and his sharp mind. Just how can I take advantage of you? What's the point in staying here then if Zhuo Fan is a no-show? Men, everyone go back to Drifting Flowers edifices and capture it in one move. We'll then handle Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquise Abode the same way. We just have to be faster than Zhuo Fan. Catch him when he's down, then take the Emperor's head. Not so fast. Leng Wuchang said, Estate Lord, we have to follow the Emperor's intent. Or instead of watching from the sidelines, he'd see Zhuo Fan weak and help him from the shadows. That's the worst outcome for us. What's there to fear? With my 9 dragons' diamond body, the world. It is for this reason that we need to exercise caution. Leng Wuchang cut him off, your secret is to deal with Zhuo Fan. If it comes out now, he'll place some counters and we'll have an even harder time dealing with him. Estate Lord, don't you want to take in these vagrants? Huangpu Tianyuan showed a wide smile, Sir Leng, you mean? Zhuo Fan's scheme is groundbreaking and ingenious. Why not apply the same idea to our side? With a sneaky smile, Leng Wuchang continued, he wants us to help him get his allies in line, and that's what we'll do. But won't he help us getting our own allies as well? Hell Valley's people are already homeless and can only turn to Regent Estate for shelter. That only leaves Pill King Hall and Merry Woods. Estate Lord only needs to seize this chance to subdue them and their lands for the future. Isn't it a shame to let such a prime chance go? Huangpu Tianyuan cackled, Sir Leng, you're saying we should thank Zhuo Fan for giving us such a wonderful idea. We'd never thought such an ingenious trick can get us all the 7 houses and without any bad blood between us either. Ha ha ha, you should show your thanks by leaving his corpse intact. Leng Wuchang smiled. Huangpu Tianyuan laughed. After all the talks, nothing had changed. Regent Estate's experts were still lazily waiting for the baiting the aid to catch something, and Huangpu Tianyuan's 3 allies were still working their asses off attacking Drifting Flowers City. A few more days later, however, Drifting Flowers City was still holding solid, but with heavy casualties. 7 overseers had died as well. The defenses wouldn't hold for long if this kept up. Whoosh! In their moment of great despair, a green jade slip flew into Grandmother's hand. Grandmother laughed, it's from our allies. We're saved. Hope blossomed. Grandmother scanned the jade slip and froze. With a crack, the jade scattered into pieces on the floor. Chapter 432, On Your Own. Chapter 432, On Your Own. What's wrong, Grandmother? Everyone cried. Grandmother sighed, it is a message from Pavilion Lord Long. Regent Estate has indeed assisted in our siege. But instead of helping Hell Valley and the others, it is stopping our reinforcements. Pavilion Lord Long's side has suffered heavy casualties and was forced into retreating. We're on our own. What? The women shook their heads in grief. They had held on so far, hanging on to the hope that help was on the way. But with even their support under heavy attack, they had sunk into the pits of despair. They could hold on for just a few short months before they would be breached. Drifting Flowers' edifices was hanging by a thread. Everyone sighed, feeling death closer than ever. Grandmother's eyes flashed with determination. Overseers, split into 5 teams and break out tonight. We will meet again at Flying Cloud City 1,000 miles away. Grandmother. I know this is dangerous, with a high chance of being wiped out, but it's better than sitting around for the axe to drop. We still have dozens of defenses in effect. They will never expect us to make such a risky move. Breaking through is our best bet. If we wait any longer, they'll raise their guard. Grandmother squinted. The others nodded. It was the most dangerous, yet most promising course of action. Waiting any longer would have even this chance robbed off of them. The overseers bowed, understood, Grandmother. The moon hung high in the night sky, with a seldom cloud marring its glow every now and then. Outside Drifting Flowers City, the disciples of the 3 houses withdrew after a long day of work, leaving a few hundred guards. One overseer took its 1,000 disciples under the cover of the night outside the city. They moved fast, like panthers, and were upon the unsuspecting guards in seconds. Ah, dash. The guard's cry was cut short at the swipe of a Drifting Flowers edifice's disciple's blade across his neck. His eyes were still wide as he hit the pool of blood on the ground. Drifting Flowers edifice's disciples split in teams of 3 to 5 members, robbing the lives of guards and ensuring the success of this mission. Slip-up was bound to happen at some point regardless. A guard threw a jade slip into the air. The jade slip exploded in a shower of light, revealing the shadows in its glaring display. The overseer shouted, "We've been spotted. Sisters, forget everything and just attack. Charge!" The 1,000 disciples rushed together towards the garrison of the 3 houses as they shouted. The house lords were out at the first sign of warning, guiding their disciples. Seeing it was just 1,000 people coming at them, they relaxed. That's it. These broads make a night raid with 1,000 warriors. That's not nearly enough to get us warmed up, ha ha ha, Lin Ruffin disdained. Yen Bagong nodded with a smile, true. With only some average overseers in the lead, what can they do even if they reach us? Since when did that Chu Biju and Shrew turn senile? You should send more people if you want to attack. These few are of no use. And what if they have different plans? I intend to capture an overseer and wring it out of her. This'll be some nice and easy merit. Yuanshan's eyes glinted. The other 2 nodded inside. Yuanshan sure makes sense. They both charged as well. With their level, this would be a walk in the park. Yuanshan snickered in the back, carefree. Bam! Lin Ruffin was the first to arrive with his uncanny speed. A single palm had the overseer flying and heavily wounded. Lin Ruffin snickered, glancing at Yen Bagong coming over with cocksure attitude, ha ha ha, it looks like the credit is all mine. Humph, of course it comes easy to you when you run faster than a hare. As for how much credit you get, it remains to be seen. Yen Bagong smiled. Lin Ruffin brushed his remark off, grabbing the woman, merit is merit either way. Ha ha ha, lass, why are you attacking at night? The overseer merely held her head high, watching the moon. Her 1,000 disciples were defeated as well, most dead, others captured, and very few escaped. Lin Rufen's hand tightened and flooded her body with yuan qi. The woman's brow creased and sweated from the unimaginable pain, but she still didn't make a peep. Humph, you sure are tough. Let me relieve you of a hand first. Lin Ruffen shouted. The woman was still moon-gazing. Lin Ruffen was pissed, but Yen Bagong stopped him before he got to any cutting. Ha ha ha, House Lord Lin, this girl is an overseer. Standard interrogation won't work on her. I have with me 100 ant pill. It will feel like thousands of ant bites all over the body. Such pain and torment is worse than death. Can I give it a try? Humph, you rotten geezer. You're stealing my thunder. It was obvious to Lin Rufeng's what the old man's game was, but it wasn't like he was getting anything out of the stubborn lass either. If by some chance the info she had was priceless, delaying it would have Regent Estate yell Mary Wood's ears out. Lin Rufeng sighed and handed her over. Fine, let's see if your 100-ant pill is as good as you say. Prepare to be amazed, ha ha ha. Yen Bagong forced her jaw open and threw the pill in. The woman twitched and jerked and started sweating harder than ever. But she still kept her lips tight, even chewing them to the point of bleeding. Ha ha ha, it must hurt like hell. Stinging, itching, tingling, and let's not forget the excruciating pain. With a cackle, Yen Bagong approached her ear. No one can stand it more than 2 hours. You better fess up and I'll relieve you of your torment. Why must you be so stubborn? Talk, why are you attacking? The woman gnashed her teeth harder and her face contorted. Yen Bagong wasn't going anywhere, just looking at her in confidence. Then help yourself to a world of hurt. Just let me know when the going gets too tough, alright? I'll be waiting, ha ha ha. Yen Bagong spoke like a winner. Yuan Shan at the side had a lazy and vague smile. An hour into the torture, the woman was red like a ripe tomato and could no longer take it. Give it to me now. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything. Yen Bagong glanced at Lin Rufeng in pride and threw a pill in her mouth. The woman calmed down while shivering. Ha ha ha, now talk. Don't think for a second that I'll believe you if you say you came to capture our camp with so few people. What's your aim? Speak the truth. Yen Bagong smiled. The woman looked at the sky and showed a pleased smile. Ha ha ha, it's too late. You're too late. What's going on? Talk. Yen Bagong frowned. The woman mocked him. I led my team here knowing full well that all we'll find is death. Our mission was quite simple really. To kill the guards and fake a raid and, once discovered, stall. Grandmother and the rest have already left. You're too late in catching up, ha ha ha. What, this was a diversion? Yen Bagong shuddered and cursed. Damn that bitch and her schemes. That hag acted all dignified for so long and we never thought she'd sacrifice an overseer, to save herself no less. Humph, you really showed me, Lady of Steel. Yen Bagong fumed under the woman's sneer. Lin Rufeng was already thinking about how to explain this to Regent Estate. Only Yuan Shan had a prideful look and a crafty grin. Chapter 433, Life in Desperation. Chapter 433, Life in Desperation. The sun's morning rays spilled on the land, dispelling the darkness and promising hope. In a gloomy ravine, grandmother took her group to a creek for a drop of water. They all looked weary and tired, with grandmother having it worse due to the poison. Grandmother, here's some water. One disciple showed consideration for her. Grandmother patted the child's head and looked to the east heartbroken. I heard from last night's 5 teams, Gelder Rose's team was spotted. For the sake of our journey to safety, they drew the enemy and must have died by now. I have let them down. Grandmother, Overseer Gelder Rose is like all of us, willing to lay down their life for Drifting Flowers edifices. She would never blame you. Peony Overseer appeased. Grandmother shook her head in tears. Whoosh! Iris Overseer flashed in front of them. Her face turned heavy looking around as she spoke. Grandmother, the way forward is blocked and they're now searching for us on their way over here. What? Grandmother cried and shook. If not for someone holding her steady, she would have collapsed by now. Did they foresee our plan to escape? How? Grandmother asked incredulously, who is coming after us? Iris Overseer replied, Grandmother, their group is made of youths led by Hell Valley's Grand Elder and Fifth Elder. Did Hell Valley guess our attempt to flee? Ever since Yugiki died, they've never had such guile. Shaking her head, grandmother felt bitter regret festering inside. I've completely lost. Back in Drifting Flowers' edifices, they could still hold on for a couple of months with their defenses, but here, turned into stragglers, they stood no chance against any group. Their escape was a bold gamble. Win and Drifting Flowers' edifices would one day rise from the ashes. Lose and their deaths would be all the more tragic. It was quite obvious now what hand she had played. I have been farsighted all my life only to make mistakes over and over at the end, ruining Drifting Flowers' edifice's legacy. I am ashamed to meet my ancestors in the underworld. Grandmother cried. The others sighed as well, hanging their desolate faces. On a hill behind them, footsteps sounded that had everyone on edge. All the eyes looked over tense and frightened. Meanwhile, Hell Valley's army of thousands was combing through the area, zeroing in on grandmother's location. Between Grand Elder and Fifth Elder was a man in gray, Yu Ming. Taking in the lush vegetation, Yu Ming's eyes flashed. Yu Ming, you've grown so much in skill over the years. I still can't believe that old hag would leave the city and its defenses and make for such a daring attempt. We never would have had such an easy time trapping so many of them if it weren't for you. I wonder how much merit will this get us? Ha ha ha, Grand Elder praised. Elder nodded, ha ha ha, Yu Ming is turning out to resemble the Seventh Elder more and more. No, I do not want to become my master. I want to surpass him. Yu Ming sighed, Grand Elder, has grandmother been caught? Grand Elder shook his head, in their attempt to flee, we've captured 4 teams, but neither had that old hag among them. Perfect. Yu Ming nodded. He gave the signal to stop, peering at a hill in front of them, wait here while I look ahead. Yu Ming, why is it that you always go ahead? Are you trying to take all the credit? Fifth Elder asked. Yu Ming smiled, I am only an advisor, Fifth Elder. How can I take down thousands of people by myself and steal your credit? I only want to check for signs of them passing through here and their direction. With all of us going ahead, it will mask all the clues. Old Fifth, you're so petty. Grand Elder glared, Yu Ming earned the most merit in the first place with his plan. Why would he steal ours then? He, I was just messing around. Don't mind it, Yu Ming. Fifth Elder scratched his head. Yu Ming nodded, rushing up the hill. What he saw beyond the hill had him wide-eyed. Grandmother and her people were tense, but ready to fight to the last. The only choice now was to go down fighting. Yet Yu Ming made a signal for them to stay quiet. They all looked stumped. Yu Ming turned around and shouted to Grand Elder, Drifting Flowers Edifice's team passed through here. They must have gone in that direction. You might catch them if you give chase. Yu Ming's finger picked a random spot. Grand Elder was overjoyed and led his men into a chase. With their trust in Yu Ming and the hill separating them, they had no clue their quarry was just over yonder. They were so close yet oh so far. The women were stumped, looking tensed at Yu Ming. Why would someone from Hell Valley help them? With the army behind him gone, Yu Ming said, everyone from Drifting Flowers Edifices, east and west are blocked. Only north and south have been searched already and there's no one there. But I highly recommend going south. In those tall mountains and dense forest, it's easy to hide. Yu Ming left. One moment. Grandmother cried, thank you, sir, for your timely rescue. But why did you help us? Yu Ming mocked, help you? Ha ha ha, you're rich. It's never worth betraying my house over some strays. Just send this message to Zhuofan. He owes me one. Yu Ming flew after Hell Valley's men. Grandmother felt bitter and despondent. Zhuofan had cast such a huge shadow that even the enemy had people hoping to get on his good side. The youth just now wouldn't have helped them otherwise. They all felt sour at the revelation. Grandmother was known to all houses for 100 years, yet her name had less weight than an upstart. Who'd have thought Zhuofan's name can make one betray his house? How could we be so different? No one knew that the true mastermind behind their current plight was none other than their savior, Yu Ming. He did it all for Zhuo Fan. Not that Zhuo Fan asked him, of course, but Zhuo Fan's handiwork had left him with no other choice. Ever since Zhuo Fan raised Hell Valley, the guy was homeless. It hit him the instant the news reached him. Zhuo Fan took care of Hell Valley to force him to renounce his unflinching trust for his house. As long as Hell Valley stood, he was one of them, and betraying one's king never came easy. But with his home up in smokes, Hell Valley was gone for good. Even though Yuan Shan took his elders to follow Regent Estate to attack Drifting Flowers edifices. And Regent Estate would never entertain the notion of helping them rebuild, deciding on a far better approach, to absorb them. As it stood, this vagrant who used to be at a three-way crossroads found only two paths forward, Regent Estate and Zhuo Fan. Under these circumstances, he had put aside the good of the house and was putting himself first. Breaking Drifting Flowers edifices was gaining credit in front of Regent Estate, while letting Drifting Flowers edifices go was doing Zhuo Fan a solid. No matter which of these two behemoths ended up ruling the lands, he had a way out. This was his plan, to be a double agent. I can't help but wonder, who'll be my lord in the end? Ha ha ha, Yu Ming shook his head. The women heeded Yu Ming's advice and escaped the Four Houses siege and bumped into their rescue team. Grandmother, Steward Zhuo has had us waiting for you here for ages. Qiu Yanhai cupped his hands. Chapter 434, Rescue and Attack. Chapter 434, Rescue and Attack. The women got startled thinking the enemy was upon them. But on a closer look, it was only Luo clan's power couple, and thus they breathed easier. Bowing, grandmother spoke, "Elders, it's so good to see you in this hour of desperate need. Our houses are allies after all. It's only natural to help." Qiu Yanhai replied in kind, then turned serious, "Grandmother, there's something I don't understand. We've clearly given you ample warning about Regent Estate's assault, yet why were you so passive?" Grandmother and the overseers flushed, hanging their heads in shame. These elders are clearly hinting at our mistrust in the Luo clan. That we stalled making a decision for so long. That was like calling them petty and suspicious. But at least they did rescue them. With a cough, grandmother fought through the awkwardness. "To be honest, I've been in seclusion for so long and the information was left to the others. They were too shallow in their thinking and didn't take it seriously that the Regent Estate would attack. When I came out, I was beset with enemies at the gates and it was already too late. I am truly ashamed, ahihihem." Grandmother coughed with a red face. It was a first for her to tell such an obvious lie in front of everyone and to shift the blame on her girls. It only made her more ashamed. What other choice was there? She couldn't just come clean and say it was an honest mistake on her part. It'd cut away at the house's trust. With how they had turned into strays, they couldn't afford to push away Luo clan's help. "Oh. I see," Qiu Yanhai and Xue Qingjian said, while beaming inside. Zhuo Fan had called it ever since he got Drifting Flowers edifice's call for help. And these two were obviously clued in as well. Just that, to complete Zhuo Fan's master plan of adding Drifting Flowers edifices to the Luo clan, these two had to rein in the teasing, lest they ruin the demonic steward's scheme. So they could only laugh inside, nodding at the hag's lame excuse. But they couldn't wipe that silly grin off their faces. Grandmother figured out on the spot that the two were in on her difficulties and turned away from those taunting stares. "Humph, you don't know how to take help at face value, so you suspected our info? He, look who's down in the dumps now." Grandmother felt bitter inside. Peony Overseer was outraged. "Since you knew about the attack on us for so long, why didn't you come help earlier? Were you waiting for us to be destroyed before acting? What kind of an ally are you? Girlie, we wouldn't be here in the first place otherwise." Qiu Yanhai was a radiant stage expert. He showed class to the women on behalf of Zhuo Fan, but would he let a profound heaven overseer just talk back to him? Grandmother mediated, Elder Chiu, please calm down. Peony is just so brash. Please don't mind her. Grandmother then chastised, Peony, Elder Chiu has come from afar to help us, so the least you could do is show some consideration. Apologize. Humph, screw apologies. If their rescue is real, why are there so few of them and without even Zhuo Fan? They have no intention to help us, clearly. Peony Overseer shouted. Chiu Yanhai snickered in rage, ignorant lass, what does a bunch of thoughtless broads like you know of Steward Zhuo's intricate planning? When he received your plea for help, Steward Zhuo knew you'd never look at him the same way for taking your Bodhi root or believe his messages. Steward Zhuo even warned us not to say this or it would break the ties between the houses. But you've given me no choice. Humph, does that give him the right to steal our precious treasure? Peony Overseer didn't back down even against a radiant stage expert. Grandmother kept on pulling her, but it was no use. These two are with Luo clan now, but they're still known as monsters in Tianyu. How could you irk them? Confronting them here was the dumbest thing one could do. Chiu Yanhai clenched his fists, you listen here girl, if not for Steward Zhuo, I would have snapped your neck for this gross lack of respect. Chiu Yanhai's savage aura exploded and sent shivers down everyone's spine. Grandmother paled, pulling Peony Overseer behind her and glaring at her to keep her trap shut. They had barely gotten out alive from one siege and were now about to find their end at their own allies' hands over a petty squabble. They are stronger than everyone here, yet you're still nagging? Grandmother sighed, feeling like giving Peony Overseer a good ass kicking. It's been so long yet your temper has never mellowed. We may even die from it. They all gulped with fear, watching Chiu Yanhai on edge. Xue Qingjian diffused the heavy mood with a smile, pulling Chiu Yanhai over, ha ha ha, we're all on the same side. Why must we bicker? Right, Grandmother? Yes, Elder Xue is totally right. Grandmother was quick to grab the lifeline, bowing to Chiu Yanhai, Elder Chiu, forgive me. I have failed to teach her properly. It is all my fault and I ask that Elder Chiu restrain his anger. Grandmother's bow was real low, her Lady of Steel vibe gone, leaving her with no prestige. This scene dawned on every overseer that they were now homeless and had lost all their pride. Chiu Yanhai snorted. Xue Qingjian smiled, big lug, they've already apologized. Show some consideration. Humph. Chiu Yanhai flared his nose, his chin still way out. Xue Qingjian turned serious and kicked his ass, launching into a tirade, now you're ignoring me, is that it? I thought I told you to show some consideration. Chiu Yanhai's cocky attitude was gone, looking at Xue Qingjian like the victim. Then he waved it all off with a cough at grandmother, it's fine. I am not so petty, ahem. Perhaps it was all too awkward, but he coughed and raised his head again. Drifting Flowers Edifice's women were stunned, even grandmother. She snapped out of it with a thanks though while the women laughed inside. Ah, that explains it. The savage Elder Chiu is whipped. Xue Qingjian came to grandmother and Peony Overseer with a smile, don't mind him, his temper is always burning hot. It comes and goes just as fast. As for the Bodhi root, Steward Zhuo forbade us from mentioning it. You will have to ask him when you meet. I wouldn't dare. Grandmother shook her head, relieved. Xue Qingjian had her consideration in mind, guaranteeing Chiu Yanhai wouldn't mess with them later. The stress of having an 8th layer of radiant stage expert after you would give one nightmares. Also, Xue Qingjian said, after hearing your plea for help, Steward Zhuo split his forces. While we were here as relief, he led an attack on Pil King Hall. Pil King Hall. Why? Peony Overseer became a sourpuss again. But a glare from grandmother shut her up. Chiu Yanhai mocked, that's why I said you are ignorant. In his infinite wisdom, Steward Zhuo knew of your siege and was thinking about how to assist. He foresaw Sword Marquis' abode and Veiled Dragon Pavilion coming to help but getting pushed back with heavy losses. You thought Steward Zhuo would lead his own people into a trap. I'll have you know that Steward Zhuo is attacking Pil King Hall to get them to fall back. Reports on the attack on Pil King Hall should be coming in right about now, getting Regent Estate and the rest to come to its rescue. Wouldn't that relieve your city of the siege? We would then come in with our thousands of troops and coordinate with you in destroying them. A shame you couldn't even last that long. Drifting Flowers edifices people felt like crying. Blast it. We got out too soon. We should have stayed put a few more days and the relief would have come, saving Drifting Flowers edifices. Grandmother felt sick to her stomach. It was a severe lapse in judgment. Only the power couple giggled inside at their mournful looks. Sigh, Drifting Flowers edifices almost got played to death, tossed between Steward Zhuo and Regent Estate. But this is sure to guarantee their change of heart. Chapter 435, True Expert. Chapter 435, True Expert. Ha ha ha, Valley Lord, you had his men capture the Drifting Flowers edifices runaways and have earned great merit. A toast to you, Valley Lord you. In a wide courtyard, Regent Estate held a feast. Huangpu Tianyuan sat in the main seat, with the house lords and divine dragons at his sides. Huangpu Tianyuan looked flushed, laughing like the world was his oyster and toasting to Hell Valley's success. Yuan Shan faked modesty. Huangpu Tianyuan, Estate Lord is too kind. It was my duty. Humph, hypocrite. Yen Bagong and Lin Ruffin spat in their minds, eyeing him with ill intent. While the two of them were breaking their backs attacking the arrays, this guy had it easy casting his net and capturing the fleeing women. Like a treacherous scum. The two wanted to tear into Yuan Shan there and then. Yuan Shan noticed their envy and turned around with a genial smile. It only worked to stoke their anger. What are you gloating about, you stray? You have no home. Oh, Valley Lord you, impressive move there, capturing Drifting Flowers edifices women. Only, how exactly did you know what they were going to do? Leng Wuchang asked. Yuan Shan bowed and reported, Sir Leng, the success isn't all mine, but the credit falls on my capable assistant. Yuan Shan pointed at a gray robe. He is Hell Valley's new advisor, Yu Ming, the last disciple of the late Yugiki. Everyone turned to Yu Ming. Yugiki was the third greatest mind in Tianyu. Although a shame, he fell at the hands of Zhuo Fan, he was quite the character. It went without saying that his disciple ought to at least live up to the name of his master. So everyone scrutinized Yu Ming, even Huangpu Tianyuan. Yu Ming bowed and took his seat again. Leng Wuchang sized him up, nodding, I see now why Hell Valley has moved with purpose and precision as of late. You have an advisor now. Ha ha ha, heroes always come young. Sir Yu Ming, by your guess, where do you think the fleeing Drifting Flowers edifices women turned to? To be quite frank, I do not know. However, knowing how stubborn grandmother is, and going by her name as Lady of Steel, she isn't one to give up. Sooner or later this day was bound to come and she planned accordingly. I just never imagined she would be so bold as to break the siege while they still had some fight left in them. Capturing so many of her disciples was just a happy coincidence. Although it is regrettable that grandmother and the overseers got away. Yu Ming sighed, my skill is still poor and many things escape me. Hope Estate Lord can forgive me. Yen Bagong and Lin Rufeng's faces twitched in tandem. Poser. My stars and garters, this punk is just like Yuan Shan. Bragging and faking humility. If you grabbed all those prisoners by mistake, does that mean the two houses who got jack squat should hang themselves? The two lords flared their nostrils and panted in rage. The siege of Drifting Flowers edifices had come up with the vagrant Hell Valley as the definite winner. Something these two would never accept. Leng Wuchang smiled, Sir Yu Ming is so modest. How can it be a mistake when you have gained such merit? Ha ha ha. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded, Yu Ming, you truly take after your master. Hell Valley will go far with you by their side. Estate Lord is too kind. Yu Ming nodded. Yuan Shan laughed in pride, believing rebuilding Hell Valley was just around the corner. Yen Bagong mocked, Humph, what future can a house with a robbed home ever have? What did you say? Yuan Shan roared. Despite Hell Valley's heavy looks, Yen Bagong still had a look of contempt, turning his head in mockery. A whoosh announced the arrival of a green flash. Yen Bagong caught it. He read the jade carefully and paled. He dropped to his knees then and there and begged, Estate Lord Huangpu, I beg of you, rescue Pil King Hall. What on earth has happened, Hall Lord Yen? Huangpu Tianyuan asked. Yen Bagong was erratic, Zijua Fan is laying waste to Pil King Hall. My house's legacy is about to be turned to dust. Please, Estate Lord, send aid. What? They couldn't believe their ears. Zhuo Fan was now after Pil King Hall. Huangpu Tianyuan and Leng Wuchang looked shocked, but a glimmer of a smile was hidden in their eyes. Yuan Shan enjoyed how the tables had turned, laughing carefree, he, talk about righteous retribution. You. Yen Bugong's eyes went red. Who told him to look down on another man's misfortune? He had no way to retort and looked pleadingly at Huangpu Tianyuan, Estate Lord Huangpu, you must help me. The entire Pil King Hall will be eternally grateful. Stroking his chin, Huangpu Tianyuan turned to Leng Wuchang. Leng Wuchang had come prepared, putting on a heavy look, to match the mood, Zhuo Fan is too vile and insidious. Going in without a plan will set us up for disaster, falling for his devious ploy. To the best of my knowledge, we should instead attack his allies to force him away. We will attack Veiled Dragon Pavilion and that will make him come to their rescue. Won't that relieve Pil King Hall? Zhuo Fan would have given Leng Wuchang the biggest thumbs up if he was here. Nice, you took the words right out of my mouth. The two were in tune with each other on this, using each other's actions as an excuse to further their personal agenda. Besides, I'm providing relief, just not directly. I have my best insider working on it as we speak. So you can't fault me for being a bad ally. The result? The 8 noble houses were falling one by one, leaving Luo clan and Regent Estate the only ones left standing. The Exodus had no choice but to rely on them, boosting their power. In short, all of them would be laid to waste, with only these 2 masterminds making out alive like bandits. Yu Ming saw through it as well and sighed inside. Now, this is an overt plot. You may know every detail but would still be powerless to stop it. Each side has their own mastermind acting as coordinator and the houses are the fodder. Be it an ally or an enemy, all of you will end up getting chewed and spit out. Seeing Yuan Shan's condescending look for him, Yen Bagong sighed inside. He had finally figured out the difference between Yugiki, Leng Wuchang and Zhuge Changfeng. Skilled at working behind the scenes yet powerless in the face of an open scheme. Zhuge Changfeng, Zhuo Fan, Leng Wuchang, the Emperor, all are true experts. Meanwhile, within 2 months, Shui Qingjian finally got the thousands of Drifting Flowers edifices women back to Windgaze City. Zhuo Fan had long since come out to welcome them of course. Grandmother, as I live and breathe. I welcome you. Zhuo Fan spoke with hands behind his back. Grandmother bowed from dozens of meters away, I thank you, Steward Zhuo, for the assistance in Drifting Flowers Edifice's hour of need, for taking the time to come see us in person. I can't say how honored I am. How can you say that, Grandmother? We are allies. Of course I'd help you. It must be that Grandmother must still be hurting for what I did back then, Zhuo Fan sighed, it is all my fault for betraying your trust and for your suffering now. The more Zhuo Fan showed his remorse the more guilty she felt. She had been suspicious of him from the first message that arrived and still blamed it on him, leaving her with an even worse feeling of making the wrong accusations. Peony Overseer had no such qualms, talk then, why did you steal our heirloom? Peony. Grandmother glared. Zhuo Fan waved, I admit, it was wrong stealing from you. I have no excuse. For that, I have let everyone down when you needed me the most. I didn't wish for this to happen. There's no need for excuses. Steward Zhuo, you have done nothing wrong. Xue Qingjian intervened, did you know that Regent Estate had young miss and young master in their clutches, forcing Steward Zhuo to commit such a vile act? What would you have done, grandmother? Elder Xue, you're out of line. Zhuo Fan berated. But Drifting Flowers Edifices got the full picture. That the bastards from Regent Estate had pushed him. Chapter 436, Refining a War Puppet. Chapter 436, Refining a War Puppet. That devious Regent Estate, and Leng Wuchang, that snake. Grandmother gnashed her teeth. Zhuo Fan sighed, grandmother need not say that. They're not that vile. It was me who betrayed you despite our ties. It is all on me. The only one you can take it out on is also me. A man has to do what a man must. I can take it. Oh, no, Steward Zhuo, I am not so unwise as to take it out on you. I could never blame you now that I know the source of our misfortune. Elder Xue is right. Anyone would have done it if it were them, including me. It is not within my right to judge you, Steward Zhuo. The more Zhuo Fan gave his head on a platter, the more he made grandmother feel bad, riddling her with guilt and shame. She ended up cursing Regent Estate some more, that wretched and vile and degenerate Regent Estate wanted to incite discord among us. Leng Wuchang is even worse. I bet he came up with that despicable plan. He stands back while Regent Estate is put to work, forcing you into driving a wedge between us. Alas, I did fall for their ploy, doubting Luo clan and resulting in today's calamity. This is all my fault. Grandmother cried again. Zhuo Fan blinked. Whether Leng Wuchang aimed for this when forcing him to get the Bodhi root, he didn't know. But one thing he was certain of, Regent Estate was packed with experts, while Drifting Flowers Edifices women are impulsive. Not to sound narcissistic, but the task of stealing their great treasure could and would only be done by yours truly. No one else had the skills nor the expertise to pull off such a heist. Yet grandmother was here denouncing Regent Estate and he couldn't agree more. Zhuo Fan patted her shoulder, grandmother, now you know that it was all a trick. We must now stand more united than ever, to have nothing come between us again. Yes, Steward Zhuo, Drifting Flowers Edifices is now at its weakest and we will do everything you ask of us, for vengeance and rebuilding Drifting Flowers Edifices. Grandmother nodded with conviction. Zhuo Fan did the same, you honor me with your deep sense of duty. I will never let you down. I noticed you are poisoned with the rainbow cloud palm. I will have someone give you the antidote. Thank you, Steward Zhuo. Grandmother bowed again and the disciples helped her into the city. Zhuo Fan watched her go. Drifting Flowers Edifices every member passed by him with apologies. At Peony Overseer's turn, she dodged his gaze and was no longer as fiery. Well, I'll be honest. Steward Zhuo, you sure know how to turn excuses into a high-class act. We could have just told them when we first met. Why drag it all out till now? I felt my ears explode hearing that Peony nag us on and on. With the coast clear, Xue Qingjian looked at him puzzled. Zhuo Fan sighed, these ladies have just experienced a change of heart. And supplied with, Elder Xue, do you know the difference between fetching and sending? Xue Qingjian shook her head. Ha ha ha, like they say, easy come easy go. When someone gives you something, you don't give it much value. If you had used the same excuse from the start, no matter how good, they still wouldn't believe you. Only through their constant inquiry, forcing me to say it, did they take it as truth. And another thing, these excuses cannot come out from me. It has to be from a third party. That's why, Elder Xue, thank you for your hard work along the way. Your ears must be in agony, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan laughed. Drifting Flowers edifices are in ruins and my helping hand will be seen as God sent. Now that all doubts are cleared as well, they will trust no one more than me. This trust will also affect the incoming houses as well, making the reform of the 3 houses a done deal. Elder Shui, Regent Estate must be gunning for Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis' abode now. Send them a word. Urge them to leave their homes and come to Luo clan. Homeless, they will only have us to rely on in the end. Yes, Steward Zhuo. Shui Qingjian cupped her hands. But paused. Steward Zhuo, what is Sir's age again? Why do you look more and more like a sly old fox? Human yet vile at the same time, you still got the 3 destitute houses moved to tears from your generosity. Ha ha ha, it's not me who made them homeless, but society. Zhuo Fan said, the signs of conflict and chaos have appeared, and I can't stop it. All I can do is stave off the anarchy at my gates. Elder Shui, you will learn in due time. What I have in store for them is for their own good. While I want them integrated and re-educated, everyone else would have them purged. Shui Qingjian just bobbed her clueless head. You're telling me it's common sense to thank the guy for wrecking your 1,000-year-old legacy. It makes total sense. The vile and deceitful steward Zhuo sure acts quite a nobleman. Shui Qingjian didn't understand, and it wasn't like Zhuo Fan wanted her to. How is it going on Elder Qiu's end? Per your orders, I escorted Drifting Flowers Edifice's disciples while the old guy is waiting for Regent Estate to vacate their city before they'll desecrate Drifting Flowers Edifice's ancestors and fetch you those bodies. Marvelous. Zhuo Fan nodded, flying towards Blackwind Mountain, leaving a few more words. Elder Li and Elder Yen have gone to take care of Pill King Hall. Wait for Elder Qiu to return and you two can go deal with Mary Woods. Yes. Shui Qingjian bowed. Zhuo Fan was back in the bunker, sending the Luo clan members and Yun clan people away. Rows upon rows of pits lined up in his sight according to the Taiji diagram. Each pit held 2 bodies in the middle, with spirit stones all around them. One looked haggard, but desecrated, while the other was dried up and human-like yet did not have the feel of one, the human pillars. On either side of them were countless materials and a pair of spiritual beast wings. Besides this one, there were tens of thousands of pits just like it. But only a few pits had bodies in them. Petting the human pillar's head, Zhuo Fan's eyes glinted. Around 10 years ago, I had Captain Pang train you. But you failed and turned cripple. I had Miss Lei teach you myriad breaths, while she called me a cruel monster knowing what it did. But I believe letting you live your lives as cripples was the ultimate cruelty. That's why I told her that even if you live a life worse than death, I'd still have use of you. That time has come. You won't be the strongest, but will reach your peak all based on your talent. You will make the Empire see that you are no cripples, but great warriors. Waves came from the human pillars, something Zhuo Fan picked up on only after he made certain signs. What's with the "can I move" questions? Ha ha ha, you will do more than that, more than your wildest dreams. You will become the Luo clan's strongest guards, Luo clan's pride and honor. Another wave of ripples told Zhuo Fan of their joy. He was no goody two-shoes and planned on refining war puppets, devastating weapons of war. He'd use those ancestors and refine them with countless materials to make them as tough as diamonds. As for the souls to operate them, that was where these loyal human pillars of the Luo clan came in. Because they were dead to begin with, even with the human pillars controlling them, they wouldn't be able to cultivate and were thus dubbed human weapons. It was the only way to describe a cultivator who hadn't achieved his potential. But they were more than enough for a weak empire like Tianyu. Due to material limitations, he planned to make 1,000 of them to start with while letting nature take its course with the rest of the human pillars. But thanks to Kunpeng's hefty endorsement, he hoped to provide these children, who sacrificed themselves for Luo clan's intelligence network, a body they could move in. It was the best reward for their dedication and devotion. 1,000 war puppets were tough enough to fight the imperial family. But by the looks of things, that number was quickly gaining 2 more zeros. He could go toe-to-toe with Dugu Zhantian's 3 million army if this kept up. That was why he said that all of the emperor's planning had this as its single flaw. How long would he keep hold of his throne once this army showed up and fought back Dugu's army? Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed with cruelty as he shouted, "Open the gates of the world and let the clouds simmer, bringing down the heavy dark rain of war, so that the souls of the ancients may trample down on this land once more." Rumble. The world itself was shaking as the sky blackened and lightning flickered. Ghastly black winds rose on Blackwind Mountain, kicking up a storm and swallowing everything. Windgaze City was on the verge of being swept up in it. Grandmother and the rest, having just found peace, were now panicking and were at a loss. When the world experienced change, someone was going against natural order, bringing about heavenly tribulation. Just what was about to happen that would bring about destruction upon the living? Chapter 437, Road Pass. Chapter 437, Road Pass. SSS. Lightning snaked all over the corpses as the materials and the wings shone. They liquefied and entered the body, fusing together. It went just like what Zhuo Fan had been through the first time, but way easier. Unlike the live refining he underwent, this time it was done on cold dead corpses, unfeeling and uncaring about some trifling stuff like a destroyed soul. So, Zhuo Fan went big this time, 1,000 of them at the same time. With the job done, the bodies had a metallic sheen to them. Zhuo Fan made a sign, change places and let the souls return. Bang! The human pillars exploded into a shower of blood and viscera. As the gruesome display splashed the ground with a sickening sound, it left behind faint flames of a spectral green glow. Zhuo Fan made another sign and the flames entered the corpses. The corpses rattled and their eyelids shivered. Zhuo Fan went through another sign and the corpses opened their mouths, while he sent a pill in. Fuse and let spirits assume their rightful place. Another sign and the rumbling continued constantly as the sky had a hole in it, spewing out a lightning shower. The mountains shook and Blackwind Mountain's arrays were close to crumbling. Windgaze City's people paled, taking this unnatural phenomenon as the end of days coming to take everything they knew. Zhuo Fan shook with the earth, knowing this was heaven's way in showing its wrath, tribulation. Any items this world did not condone incited the heavenly tribulation to have them all purged, disintegrated, to guard all living things from destruction, decreed by the world's Tao. Zhuo Fan, while refining war puppets, was doing just that, going against heaven and bringing down the fury of the world on his head. But he had put too much work in this for a puny heavenly tribulation to come ruin it all. Since he was fully intent on refining the war puppets, he had a way to keep the war puppets alive, so to speak. The snap of his fingers echoed out. The 4 arrays started up and spewed out pitch-black mist all around Windgaze City. The black mist wiggled and spun, swallowing all lightning strikes. Shroud the heaven's eye, the sun and the moon, 10th grade array, hidden shadow dragon. With a whistle, the black mist swept over the war puppets, covering them completely. When the Black Sea passed, Zhuo Fan saw a flat ground, with all the war puppets gone from the bunker and his sight. The rumbling in the heavens was on hold, having lost its target. The black clouds scattered, having nothing better to do. The land no longer shook and Windgaze City returned to normalcy. But what had just transpired had every one of its citizens filled with a bad feeling. Sighing, Zhuo Fan wiped his brow, overjoyed. At least he had the foresight to use the new authority of the Luo house and mine his domain, gathering the spirit stones needed to set the 10th grade array up. Everything would have been wasted otherwise, with even his home base laid to ruins under heaven's tantrum. Heaven was quite generous though. It would strike down with unbridled fury and unmatched force when anything foreign was taking shape, but will leave you be, once it was done shaping up. Through the hidden shadow dragon, Zhuo Fan hid the war puppets until the fusing finished. Then he'd have nothing to worry about. The world shall soon follow, with 100,000 puppets sweeping the lands in every direction. Ahahaha. Zhuo Fan looked around the bunker one last time before leaving. Only the world's odd phenomenon had left a mark on its people, yet they had no way of unraveling the mystery. This event was the start of a quirky habit, happening every other month. With Zhuo Fan keeping mum about it, none was the wiser and everyone became more puzzled than ever. It was like the world's ant flow was doing its thing. With no losses to worry about, no one bothered with it. This was how the next few months passed. Regent Estate used this time to lead its allies like an unstoppable flood towards Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis's abode. Learning from Drifting Flower's edifice's miserable ending, the two didn't resist and stuck to fleeing. Regent Estate's attack on the houses met hardly any resistance since the houses were long gone, taking less than a week to trample both of them. But unlike Drifting Flower's edifices, these two houses hadn't suffered many losses. While the wretched Zhuo Fan was the real big baller getting rich over this war. He robbed Pill King Hall and Mary Wood's blind, tombs included. But didn't forget to include his precious allies as viable targets for some relaxed desecration. It went like this. Once Regent Estate knocked itself out after attacking a house, his team would swing by for some quality digging. The true winner in all of this was Zhuo Fan by far, getting close to 100,000 powerful corpses with bone-tempering stage as the minimum. He had already refined tens of thousands of puppets. Just that none of his allies were clued in on this little tidbit, following him like good little doggies and blaming it all on Regent Estate. It was safe to assume that a heavy war would break out if they found out who was behind all this. Up till now, the foundation of the 7 houses laid in rubble as two sides formed. All that remained was a cruel and hard war for supremacy. Blackwind Mountain's main hall was packed with leaders of every house. Zhuo Fan and Luo Yunhai represented Luo clan, taking the main seat, while the rest were their 3 allies. Zhuo Fan glanced over them. The imperial family is beset with inner and outer conflict while the regent estate is running rampant across Tianyu. Both camps are at a breaking point. War is knocking and we can't avoid it. Then we don't. We've suffered the past 1,000 years at their hands and now they've even ruined our homes. Long Jiao snorted, we didn't fall out all this time for the nation's sake. But now we have you as a brother, Luo clan, and together we can fight them. We have you to lead us, to destroy them. It is the only choice left to us. Yeah, we'll destroy them. The others echoed. The disciples of the houses present were all homeless, runaways in the truest sense and form. When they had nothing left to lose, why would they shirk from this? And with victory promising to restore their lands, they were all for it. War was the answer and their thirst for it only grew. Zhuo Fan put his trademark evil grin on, perfect. He held his hand up for silence, be assured, friends, we understand your plight. Our Luo clan's ancestral teaching is all about being righteous and moral to our neighbor. You've all helped us when we were at our lowest. We never forgot your great generosity. Now that you all are in difficulty, Luo clan will step forth and bring you justice. This is my declaration of war. We will fight them to the end. Oh! Fists were thrown into the air. Some sighed, praising Steward Zhuo's loyalty and Luo clan's benevolence. Only Luo Yunhai turned somewhat pink, sweating buckets like every other Luo clan elder present. Granted, Luo clan's ancestral teaching was about righteousness, having heard Luo Yunhai and Luo Yunchang talk about it. But ever since Zhuo Fan took helm, that word was crossed out and written off from Luo clan's vocabulary, replaced with a better and truer aim, like self-interest to start with. Zhuo Fan used it just now only as a tool, but selling it with his pretty speech and heartfelt act, everyone was inspired, driven and filled with thirst for battle, to the point of giving their life for it. Funny enough, if it were plain righteousness, they might not be so keen on going along with Zhuo Fan. But with him being so despicable and vile to throw in some incentives for everyone, they were all in. Like Zhuo Fan once said, in this world where the strong ate the weak, going by righteousness alone would get one into a sorry dump, like the Luo clan when he found it. Understanding this, Luo Yunhai's eyes flashed and he rose. Everyone, as the clan head of the Luo clan, I will draft the declaration of war, to quell regent estate and give you all justice. With a dignified act and powerful voice, he drove an even stronger sense of camaraderie into their hearts. Zhuo Fan nodded inside. The kid grew up at last. Without darkness to back it up, light would be like dust in the wind. On the other side, Regent Estate already had its declaration of war ready, sending it to their final goal, Luo clan. The people cleared the room once the negotiations finished. Only Yu Ming stayed behind and Leng Wuchang smiled. Sir Yu Ming, I heard you were close to the second prince. He trusts me completely. Yu Ming nodded. Then please return to his side. We and Zhuge Changfeng have an understanding in place, but when it comes to that old fox, we still need assurances and need to prepare a plan B. As we are about to go to war with Luo clan, there's nothing I would hate more than to have the imperial family stick its nose in it. Yu Ming squinted, and grinned, ha ha ha, you are just like Zhuo Fan. Pausing, Leng Wuchang looked at him, ha ha ha, I see. So he gave you a road pass as well. Chapter 438, Chance. Chapter 438, Chance. Elite Coder. The declarations of war took wings, pasted across the streets of Tianyu and drove horror into the hearts of its people. Regent Estate, by its imperial right, declared itself king. It would first rid the land of that traitor Zhuo Fan and Luo clan, vowing to purge the nation of its descendants, bringing peace. Zhuo Fan accused Regent Estate of its degenerate actions, deceiving, plotting and scheming in order to take the 7 noble houses for itself. Its crimes were beyond count. With the power invested in the Luo clan as the 8th noble house, they took upon themselves the duty of a ruler's loyal servant to rid the world of these heinous lowlifes and to dispel the darkness. The average citizen looked more lost than ever. Tianyu was under Yuan clan's rule. Whoever marched in the name of the imperial family, had righteousness by his side. The emperor had Zhuo Fan turn into a wanted man and Regent Estate was tasked to remove him. Everyone knew that. But from Zhuo Fan's declaration, it looked as if Regent Estate had made the emperor come to the wrong conclusion through coercion and slander. Sticking to the fact that loyal officials were usually framed by corrupt ones, Zhuo Fan claimed to be a bastion of loyalty. His wanted status was all due to Regent Estate's schemes and playing the emperor for a fool. He wanted to remove the corruption and allow the emperor to think clearly. Hence the rise against Regent Estate. Zhuo Fan looked to have enough reasons to do it as well. But what got the entire populace staring blankly was who was in the wrong and who was right. It ought to be the imperial family who'd clarify this point, yet the sovereign was eerily quiet. It was the emperor who had issued a decree to have Zhuo Fan killed, but now he had turned a deaf ear. The great emperor feinted senility. For argument's sake, if he did speak out, would he have the reason to attack them both later? It was better to let them slaughter each other, and then finish them off in due time. As for who was right and who was wrong, it all came down to the emperor's decision, no? The emperor's plan was ingenious, fooling the whole nation. But one thing they did know was that Luo clan and Regent Estate were mad about putting the other one down. The noble houses with their long-standing legacy were leveled in a short time, leaving only these 2 factions. These small-time clans couldn't mess with any of these big shots. It was a safer bet to wait for the winner to come out before hugging their leg. Even though this action carried a slightly reproachful tone, it was way better than making the wrong choice and ending up a corpse in the mud. The emperor was shrewd, but the clans weren't that dumb either to get swept up by the vortex. Who cares who's vile and who's playing nice? The victor has always been, and always will be, right. That old coot is playing deaf. You asked me to deal with Zhuo Fan and now you won't even back me up. Rotten bastard. Huangpu Tianyuan raved. Leng Wuchang smiled, Estate Lord, we knew this was coming. The imperial family wants to be the third party, so how can it give us just cause? It will only work to boost our forces. Not to mention he hardly has an excuse to deal with us. He must be thinking he has us and Zhuo Fan right where he wants us. Humph, delusions is what he has. Before he even gets the chance, I'll make sure his backyard burns. Huangpu Tianyuan slapped the table. Leng Wuchang smiled with a wise look. Zhuo Fan was laid back, waiting for the war to come knocking. He had figured out the imperial family's reaction ages ago and had drafted that ridiculous and flashy deceleration for the same reason. He painted himself as the picture of loyalty, since no one was there to refute him anyway. Or Regent Estate would have taken the name of a loyal official to boost his ranks and he'd be left with nothing. This way is much better. He, I am as guilty as you are righteous. Making this war fair and square. As for the imperial family throwing its hooks in, humph, his backyard won't be so quiet for long. With a twisted smile, Zhuo Fan looked in the imperial capital's direction, confident in his contingencies. Anywho, in the imperial palace, the emperor in his throne had a shifty look in his eyes now and then. Marshal Dugu, it's time. Order me, your majesty. Dugu Zhantian bowed. The emperor said, Marshal Dugu, with purging traitors as the reason, assemble 1,000,000 men. I'm sure you know what to do next. I understand. Sighing inside, Dugu Zhantian shook his head in defeat. The emperor wanted him to root out all traitors. As for who these were, he didn't say. It was the same as asking to kill them all. And the emperor was sure to have their list of crimes ready to publicize any time. But to go to war against his godson was something this Marshal found toiling. But the emperor had given his order and he had to obey. Your Majesty, my departure will bring great chaos in the imperial capital. I fear. It's fine. Dugu Zhantian was wrecked with worry, but the emperor cut him off. I have made plans for this eventuality. Marshal can go with ease. This plan will settle Tianyu's critical situation. No mistakes are allowed. Understood. Dugu Zhantian bowed and left the palace. The emperor was struck with grief seeing him go. Marshal, for the good of the nation, I can only be ruthless. Days later, news of Dugu Zhantian's army being on the move spread to every ear. Zhuo Fan and Huangpu Tianyuan snickered. Only the prime minister was frowning. Obscure wolf slipped before him once again, excited, Prime Minister Zhuge, even Dugu Zhantian has left the emperor's side. This is our best chance so far. We wait. Zhuge Changfeng's brow was locked in a tight scowl. Hu Yanchai grew unsettled, Prime Minister sir, all of the emperor's loyal subjects are gone. He is defenseless. If we wait for him to settle all conflicts, in and out of court, it'll be too late. The garrison has been putting pressure on us to leave since a few days ago as well. We can't wait much longer. Sighing, Zhuge Changfeng's mind was a mess. Finally he spoke, we wait. For what? Prime Minister sir, what's holding you back? Hu Yanchai was angry now. The Chuanrong's finest weren't here on a sightseeing trip. Going around the place doing nothing all the time would end up being the shame of their army back home. But this was all on the Prime Minister. Flicking his sleeve, Hu Yanchai was gone, leaving Zhuge Changfeng alone with his jumbled thoughts. Whoosh! His two elders appeared at his sides, bowing, Lord Prime Minister, what plagues you? Of the 5 divine dragons, we've only ever seen 3. Now who do you think the other 2 are? Zhuge Changfeng said. The Yin-Yang elders understood his plight and said, Lord Prime Minister, you've held back all this time because of these 2 divine dragons? Know yourself and your enemy and you will be ever victorious. Even against divine dragons. If I do not know who they are, our impetuous action will be the death of us. Black Elder said, Lord Prime Minister, I have a conjecture but find it inappropriate. A man of your power has traveled far and knows much. No matter what happens in Tianyu, however people hide themselves, nothing comes as a surprise to you. Yet we have no information on these two divine dragons. They may not even exist, made up by the imperial family as a bluff. SSS. Zhuge Changfeng gasped, you mean to say the old man has been using the empty city tactic? This is one dangerous bet. He would rather send everyone to deal with Regent Estate and Zhuofan, and only then settle the court. That would mean not acting now will be a waste. But what if it's all a trap and everything we've worked for would go down the drain? That old coot's scheme is brilliant. I am truly in a dilemma. Zhuge Changfeng sighed but his gaze steeled, send the order to get ready. Second Prince was pacing in his new manner, excited and worried. Whoosh. A second later he found himself looking at a grey robe and said, Sir Yuming, you're back at last. The situation. I know. Yuming had a crafty smile, Your Highness, this is your moment. Truly. Second Prince beamed, too excited to speak. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.